Odyssey.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
All right, Joel Nelson for Fan Headlines. Pirates have their rubber matchup against the Padres later tonight at 5:10 in San Diego. Andrew Heaney on the mound up against Randy Vasquez. 3:40 is the North Shore Tavern Leadout Show with Jason Mackey. Ben Cherington Show at 4:10. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Right now it's a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey.
Live and local, even on the weekends. Let's go! Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
And a good Sunday afternoon to you. The sun is out. Finally. Sort of. We're getting there. Thank you very much for that introduction, Joel. It's good to be back. Hasn't been that long away. Hopefully nobody's sick of me yet. Try not to be that guy. Gonna have some fun this afternoon. A lot to discuss. Heck of a Pirates game last night. Sparked a bigger picture question in my mind. What took so long? It looks good. It's not perfect. There's still some flaws. But I like the way the Pirates have been playing under Donnie Kelly. I'm guessing you do too. Bailey Falter was absolutely fantastic last night. Continued his torrid May. Pirates got some timely hitting. Andrew McCutchen with a statement on leadership. There's a lot to get into with last night's game. We'll do a little bit of it in the first part of the afternoon. Also want to save a little bit as we get you ready for the series finale of Pirates and Padres. I'll be handling pregame and postgame duties. We had a big story in Seattle as far as local guys. North Allegheny's Cole Young. Did you see this, Joel? I'm sure you did. You see everything.
Yes, wasn't that pretty cool?
Oh, my goodness. Fantastic. So Cole Young makes his MLB debut yesterday and gets a walk-off fielder's choice. Wins the game. Also collects his first MLB hit in the ninth inning. Just awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And even better, a slight treat for today. One Andrew Destin was there to cover it for the Associated Press. That's where my former coworker at the Post-Gazette, all-around good man, Andrew Destin, works now. He was on hand, so Andrew will join us at 2 o'clock. And we'll go over a little Cole Young mania. I've been texting with Andrew today, and we were talking about Rowdy Tellez, who's also now in Seattle. It's funny. All signs point to Seattle. But that's one baseball topic we'll get to. I want to talk a little bit about some individual performances we've seen out of the Pirates. And it's a weird dichotomy with them. I understand people getting upset, certainly valid. I understand feeling like this season is sunk because, frankly, it probably is. But we can also, at least a part of us, I'd hope, step back and appreciate some of what we've seen. And at least lately, a slice of that is Bailey Falter, pitching to a 0.76 ERA in May. I don't know if he'll win the NL Pitcher of the Month. I think he has a strong case. I think it's also probably going to be Andrew Abbott from Cincinnati. But regardless, just an incredible performance from Bailey Falter. And I'll explain some other things that I've noticed with the Pirates that deserve to be pointed out. In other sports, we have an NBA final that's set. The NBA Finals, I should say. It's a proper noun. I'm learning this, Joel. I want to get into some NBA talk with you. We didn't do this properly yesterday, so I think at the 3 o'clock hour, I'd like to bat around a little hockey stuff and bat around a little NBA, if that's cool with you.
Good deal.
So you have the Stanley Cup final in the NBA Finals. Let's be proper. Also, the Memorial Golf Tournament in Dublin, Ohio. Scotty Scheffler is writing one heck of a script. And if it is not interesting enough, just how darn well he's playing, of course, you're aware that soon it will come to Oakmont. We'll get into that a little bit and what Scheffler has been doing and what's at stake for him when it comes to the U.S. Open. But again, as I said, my lead topic today, the question, the thing that I think I would like to frame the majority of our conversation here is, why did the Pirates wait so long? What led to this decision? Could things have been gone differently, things look different, say it that way, if they flipped the switch to Donnie Kelly earlier? Because I think they could have. I think the Pirates missed here. I think this was a case of, I don't even want to say Ben Cherington, Bob Nutting. It's kind of convoluted who made the decision, so I'm just going to say the organization and then explain where I think this came from. But I think it's the idea that the Pirates waited too long to do this. If you think back to the final days of Derek Shelton's tenure, the Pirates went 1-9 in those games. They were dead to rights. It was not good. It was not good for more than that, but I mean, it's pretty noticeable. 12-26 was when they made the move. The off day after Wednesday, May 7th, coming back from a trip to St. Louis. Don Kelly's first game as a manager, Friday, May 9th at home against Atlanta. So anyway, Pirates make the move. They're 12-26 at that time. If they would have done it 10 games earlier, you erase 1-9, and their record becomes 11-17. Let's say they played 500 ball in those 10 games instead of 1-9. Because right now, in 21 games under Johnny Kelly, the Pirates are 10-11. So let's just say they played 500 ball. You go 5-5 and 10-11. All of a sudden, they are 15-16 under Donnie Kelly. They were 11-17 under Derek Shelton. And the Pirates would be sitting here at 26-33. If I told you right now that after 2 months, the Pirates were 7 games under 500, I can't imagine you'd be happy. You also wouldn't look at this season as lost. But as we stand here, and the Pirates are instead 22-37, it looks hopeless. A lot of us have written them off, saying it's going to take a Herculean effort, frankly, because it would, to make anything of this season. And here's what I mean by that. 22-37. They'd have to play 5 games over 500 to get to 76 wins, last year's win total. They'd have to go 60-43 to get to 82 wins over 500. Do we expect either of those things to happen? No, they didn't. They're not going to. So the Pirates waiting that extra tick when things were dead and they didn't act when they probably should have, allowing the team to drop 9 of 10 games, probably sunk their season. Think about that. And I also think there's a discussion to be had here with who made the decision and why it was allowed to drag on as long as it did. Ben Cherington said, and I asked the question, whether he made the decision or whether this was recommended from above. Ben Cherington answered and said he made the recommendation to Bob Nutting and Travis Williams. I talked to Bob Nutting on May 9th. Did a Q&A that maybe you read, hopefully you read. I tried to not pull any punches, but still, have a sense of decorum. Contrary to popular belief, I can't take the interview subject and shake him until he gives the answers that I want. Have to still be professional. But I tried to be forceful, respectful, and also tactful. I don't know. So anyway, I wanted to go to that interview and look back at some of what Bob said. I felt it was critically important that we move now, certainly no later than now, because I believe we can still make a real impact in 2025. I'll read it again. I felt it was critically important that we move now, certainly no later than now, because I believe we can still make a real impact in 2025. Okay? It also drove the decision not to make a change more broadly and holistically. That was me asking Bob, you kept Ben Cherington and Travis Williams. Why? And that was actually a follow-up, because my first question was, what was the organization's reasoning for moving on from Derek Shelton but not Ben Cherington and Travis Williams? Bob didn't answer that, so I circled back on it. It also drove the decision to not make a change more broadly and holistically. I think if we made a broad, real restructure of the organization in mid-season right now, we will not improve the team for 2025. I don't think that makes us better. I'm not willing to give up on what we expected, which involves a significantly better performance than you've seen. I don't think blowing things up after 38 games into the year is going to help us do that. I think that would be distracting. I think that would get us off track. My focus has to be on getting this fixed and getting it fixed as soon as we can. Nowhere in there does Bob Nutting talk about making a joint decision with Ben Cherington. My suspicion, Ben wanted to ride this out, and it got to the point of no return with Nutting, and he said, I want to salvage something of this season, and I'm not tolerating this any longer. Which was right, but also wrong. It was right for Nutting to step in and do something about it. It was wrong for him to wait that long. So as I'm talking about, the Pirates did it at 12-26. And I'll just lay out the math. I know that's not a term, but I'll just go back over it because it's important to grasp this. If they would have done it 10 games earlier, the Pirates went 1-9 in those games. Rewind 10 games, they go to 11-17. Let's say they go 5-5 because that's about what they've done under Donnie Kelly. They're a 10-11 team under Donnie. That takes you to 15-16. Make sure to add that 11-17 start back in there, and you get to 26-33, 7 games under 500. Looks a lot different than 22-37, doesn't it? It's not great, mind you. But anybody who was around that team in the final days of Derek Shelton would have told you that that was a dead team walking. There was a dead manager walking. Heads were down. That place was depressed. They weren't coming out of that. And I'm sitting here watching what the Pirates did last night and largely being, I don't want to say encouraged, but like, you're not mad about it. They've got a few decent things going for them. The hole is gigantic. I still can't figure out the issue with the offense, but it has gotten better under Donnie Kelly. I'll give them that. And no, I'm not on something. The Pirates have scored 5 or more runs in 6 of their last 9 games. In that time, they're tied for 5th in runs in all of Major League Baseball. I know it's only 9 games, does not a season make, but it's reasonable. And they've got some individual stories that I think are worth highlighting. We saw one of them with Bailey Falter last night. 6 starts in May. Bailey Falter 3-0, .76 ERA. It's the third lowest for any Pirates pitcher since 1920. It ain't bad. Some other stats on their starting pitchers, which again, kind of important. Pirates have 28 quality starts. Only the Phillies and the Rays have more. If you look at their top 4 starters, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Bailey Falter, Andrew Heaney, nobody has an ERA over 3.41. Keller's rolled out 5 straight quality starts, a 2.90 ERA over that time. Skeens, 2.15 in a dozen starts this season. I was looking at Fangraph's calculation of WAR for pitchers prepping for this show. No, it's not a perfect stat. That's not exactly what you want to look at when you're trying to evaluate pitchers, but at the same time, the only person above Skeens is Tarek Skubal from Detroit. That's pretty good. Skeens has been dominant. You probably don't need me to tell you that. I talked yesterday about Alexander Canario and some of the positive impact he's had with regular playing time. He's played in 19 of 21 games for Donnie Kelly, hitting .292 with a .782 OPS. If you told me the Pirates were going to get that every day out of left field in the offseason, I would have signed up right then and there. Henry Davis didn't have a hit last night, but also hit 2 balls that went about 110. In his past 9, he's hitting .296 with an .832 OPS. That'll play. O'Neal Cruz on pace for 33 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Very good. And here's something where I think Donnie Kelly's effect hasn't been talked about enough. Brian Reynolds. Think about what they did early on. Why this didn't happen until the middle of May, I don't know. Sitting him. One of the things I love about Reynolds is his consistency and just being out there every day. He wants to do it. He loves it. Runs balls out, prepares the right way. He's a good person. Treats people right, busts his tail. You can't say enough good things about Reynolds. Somebody needed to step in at that point and say, dude, you're struggling. You need to take a seat. And I don't know the inner workings of those conversations. I mean, maybe Derek Shelton went to Brian Reynolds and said, dude, you need to take a seat, and Reynolds fought him on it, and Shelton tried to trust the player. I don't know. I'll never know. But I do know that Reynolds was hitting 194 on May 14th. Pirates get an off day. Donnie Kelly sits him that Friday, beginning of the Phillies series. Since that time, Brian Reynolds hitting 388. 1.089 OPS, 7 extra base hits, 14 ribbies in 13 games. And oh, by the way, here comes June. Reynolds, a 340 lifetime hitter in June, 981 OPS. Reynolds has found it. And they've handled Reynolds the right way. Donnie Kelly has. Sits him, and he had something with his back in the Milwaukee series, and they sat him. It's okay. We'll make do without you. Don't let a little thing become a big thing. It was the final game of that series. No issue. Reynolds sat. He's good now. It goes back to the thesis. I don't understand why the Pirates waited so long to do this. Because what they're doing on the other side of the Derek Shelton firing has been moderately impressive, satisfying, something. You can see something here. If they had been playing like this all along, they wouldn't be in this position. Something else I really like about the Donnie Kelly tenure, and I tweeted this out a little bit ago. They're playing much better fundamental baseball. Much better. Since Donnie's first game as a manager on May 9th, the Pirates have the fourth best fielding percentage in Major League Baseball. It's a .992. Can you think of any glaring fundamental errors that they've made? I can think of O'Neal Cruz throwing a ball to Texas instead of home plate. I don't know what the manager could have done to change that. You know, maybe the IKF slide, I think it was ruled a hit still on Friday night. Should have been an error. I'm not going to get that mad about that. If anything, that's a roster thing where you're shoehorning a utility guy into shortstop. Like, sometimes it ain't going to work. I'm also largely okay with what IKF has done. Did you know that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is their leader in wins above replacement according to Baseball Reference? I did not until this morning. That surprised me. 1.4. He's their only 300 hitter. He's hit 344 in 17 games since coming back from his hamstring injury, surprisingly enough. But it's not egregious. The Pirates are making fundamental plays. They're doing just enough offensively. They're certainly not elite there. They need to improve. But they're making the plays they should make. Only 3 teams have made fewer errors than the Pirates since Don Kelly took over. They're getting quality starting pitching. The bullpen, it's okay. It's been good in spots. It's been not good in others. Dennis Santana's been lights out. Caleb Ferguson's been really good. Baracki's been really good, -1 game in the Don Kelly era. You know, there are tweaks. I'm not explaining away any of this stuff. I'd still have Carmen Majinski as a reliever. You should be able to build that out a little bit more. Colin Holderman not being what many expected him to be is a disappointment. Tim Meza, an offseason signing on the IL, that's a disappointment. Kyle Nicholas was supposed to be up here and really take the next step. He hasn't done that. But again, I'm not saying it's perfection. I'm saying it's progress. I'm saying I would have liked to have seen the progress started earlier, and those 10 games that they waited turned out to be pretty costly. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. As always, we're pretty casual on the call-in conversation aspect, back and forth. The number here, 412-928-9370. Joel will get you on the line, and we'll kick it around a little bit. Scott in the North Hills is our first caller. Wants to talk about Don Kelly. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Jace, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. I don't really see anything. I give you a specific example of something that Don Kelly does different than. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the other guy's name. I don't see anything different. My biggest change that I see was that Horowitz comes in. He's a real baseball player. He's playing an important position that they had guys that weren't really great at that position playing. And I think, the baseball numbers over time sort of even out. So Brian Reynolds is going to get hit. No, he's not a under 200 hitter, so he's going to get better eventually. I still think this team's very, very flawed. And,
I'm not saying they're not.
65
Scott.
wins or 64 wins, but there's nothing there that excites you. They don't put the ball in the seats. You need to put the ball in the seats. And, that's it.
You have to hit home runs to win?
Yes.
Okay. Don't the Guardians win without hitting a lot of home runs?
They don't. They win their division, but
I mean, I would take.
They don't get to the. Yeah, I would too. But you look at any of the division winners. They hit a lot more home runs than the Pirates do. I mean, look at the statistics. Our leading guys got 14, and the second most is 5, I think, or 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays hit fewer home runs than the Pirates last year. They did okay. The Rays hit fewer home runs than the Pirates last year. They did okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just I don't think
didn't, and the Dodgers hit way more than they did.
I mean, are we really going to sit here and compare the Pirates and the Dodgers?
Well, then what are we doing it for? Then what are we talking about?
I don't know.
We hoping to get to 500? I mean, that's what you're all excited about this.
I'm not excited about it. I'm saying that they should have made the move sooner, and they'd be in better shape. Wouldn't
have made a difference. Wouldn't have made a difference.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Odd way of calling in. They don't need to hit home runs. If they just score runs, I think that would be good. Since Don Kelly, their starting pitchers have the second lowest ERA in all of baseball. I'm not saying that's going to hold. I'm not saying they have the second best starting staff, but I'm saying there's more than one way to slice and dice this. If it was just hitting home runs all the time, I mean, they have those events. They're home run derbies. The Oakland Athletics last year hit 196 home runs. Is anybody talking about their team success? It's the 8th most in baseball. Okay. They were flawed in other areas. I'm not going to turn down home runs. I would much rather have a complete team. And they've taken at least steps toward becoming that with Donnie Kelly. I don't think anywhere along this opening monologue I said that they had figured it out or were set or anything like that. They need to hit a lot more than they have if they're ever going to make anything out of it. But playing better defense is a start. Having some sort of fight, consistency to you, that's a start. Anyway, all right. Let's go to Joe in Orlando. Let's talk about the Pirates and Don Kelly. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Jason? How you doing?
Doing all right, man.
Boy, is that guy a little bit of a jag-off. Listen, first off, Derek Shelton and John Russell, somewhere along the line, have some genetic they would come off of the same coaching tree, I guess I could say. And a team will adopt the personality of the head coach. I think your take is spot on. I'm not sure where that gentleman was going. He didn't say they were going to win the World Series.
I think he's just mad about the Pirates, and he didn't want to listen to any logic. That's he's got his opinion, and he feels the way he feels, and he doesn't want to see nuance, and that's fine. He's allowed to see whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's certainly entitled to his opinion, but in my opinion, he was wrong. I'm good friends with a baseball agent here in Florida, and he's born in a different generation than me. I grew up playing a lot of ball, And his philosophy was exactly what that gentleman just said. They're looking for guys that put the ball in the air. For me, being a Pirate fan, I'm looking for guys that put the ball in play. And that's what the Pirates are doing. That's the first thing. They're putting the ball in play. The second thing is he has a consistent lineup. And Don Kelly, in my opinion, kind of knows what he's dealing with. I don't think Shelton did. He had a different lineup every day. Right away, when you saw O'Neal Cruz stay in the leadoff position, he's starting to thrive. As you suggested, Canario starting to put the bat on the ball. If you go back and look at the average amount of swings the Pirates took with Derek Shelton and look what they're taking with Donnie Kelly, I'll bet you it's night and day. As Roberto Clemente used to say, if you're in a slump, you got to take 3 good swings. And I'll tell you what Canario does. He takes 3 hacks per bat. Some of them are misguided. He's terrible at the outside pitch. But I'll tell you what, he goes up with the intention to hit, in specific now that he's playing every day. And you hit the nail on the head. There is something different. And I do believe it's Don Kelly. He's got a little bit of fire in his belly, and it's starting to rub off. And it was refreshing to see Andrew McCutchen. I'm not saying it wasn't a little goofy when he was sitting there staring, but when he gave that umpire a piece of his mind.
I love it. It's fantastic.
It showed that the Pirates had a little bit of heart. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, if you need anything, you got to play with fire in your belly.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate the call, man. Good stuff.
You got it, Jason. All right, bye-bye.
Don Kelly, fire in his belly. Need a bowl full of jelly. Delivered to me. Nah. It's good stuff. All right, a couple more calls. We'll get to them. Great opening hour, gang. Really like this. The fan text line is brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, the personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Fan Twitter, it's brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. You can visit them at southhillskia.net. Alice in the car wants to talk about Don Kelly. Alice, how are you? What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I'm just driving right now to the Strip, listening to you. Don Kelly, I think they seem like they're just playing different. They're having fun. They're playing with a little more passion, and they are hitting more. I don't know what that other caller wanted. He wants everybody to go out and hit home runs every time they're up at bat. But I wish they would have gotten rid of Shelton earlier in the season. I wonder where it would be right now, what kind of record they'd have, because they seem like they're playing different. They're not perfect, like you said, but I think they've really improved since he took over. Yeah. And he seems like he really cares a lot about the players, too, and he was a player. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think there's definitely a difference with him and Shelton.
Yeah. Thanks, Alice. I appreciate the call. Enjoy the Strip.
Have a good day.
You too. Yeah, we had a caller there that mentioned the consistency of the lineup, and I think that's a very important thing. And I don't think that's because Derek Shelton was a bad person or unaware or anything like that. I just think it's maybe a little bit of a different style, and Don Kelly's done a fantastic job with that. I mean, that's specific to Alexander Canario, but you're not seeing a lot of tinkering. You're allowing guys to get comfortable. Sometimes the best thing you can do in baseball is get out of the way. Let it be simple, man. If there's a simple solution, take it. And yeah, I'm with Alice. I don't need him to – I think it was Alice that said that. I don't need him to put the ball over the fence. I want consistent contact. Reduce the strikeouts. Put the ball in play. Run around. Be athletic. Don't make stupid outs on the bases. And I'm not naive. I'm not looking at the Pirates and thinking I need to – they're going to have like a, 14th, 15th, 16th ranked offense. If you've got elite pitching and you play good defense, you can go, 20th, 21st, something like that. Just score enough runs to get by. Make the plays you should make. Nobody's looking at this team as a juggernaut. They just want them to play good, respectable baseball, and they've done that under Donnie. Again, the thesis of this argument, in case you're like Alice and you just hopped in the car and you're driving down the Strip or whatever it is, the Pirates fired Derek Shelton when they were 12-26. If they would have done it 10 games earlier, the Pirates, mind you, went 1-9 in those games, would have put them at 11-17. Say they played 5-5 ball in those 10 under Donnie. They've gone 10-11 in the games they have played under him. It all adds up to 26-33 in our little theoretical world of the Pirates acting a little bit more aggressively than Derek Shelton. 7 games under 500 to me looks a heck of a lot better than 22-37, don't you think? So that's kind of what we're talking about and why that decision was made and early impressions of Derek Shelton. We'll go to one more call from JJ in Bellevue, and then I got to get to a break. What's up, JJ? You're on the fan.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad, man. How are you?
Good. There's definitely a palatable difference with Don Kelly. For me as a fan, you feel like there's some kind of excitement. Like that they're in every game. Even those one-run games with Shelton, you felt like, well, they're just going to roll over now. The other thing I noticed was when he put Bednar in with a 5-run lead, I don't think Shelton would have done that. He would have said, well, we have a 5-run lead. We don't want to waste Bednar. Let me put in a lower leverage pitcher, and then we'll have a chance to give away the game. So I think, I think Don Kelly said, you know what, we need this victory. We're putting Bednar in, even though it's a 5-run lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of several things that I think that Donnie Kelly has done differently, and I think it's been good. I think it's just having a better feel for how things are processed in the clubhouse, and these guys like Donnie Kelly. I mean, I think that became clear down the stretch. They were just kind of over Shelton. I don't know if it's anything personal, but you can certainly see them responding with Donnie. Thanks for the call, JJ. I appreciate it, man. All right, let's get to a break. More calls on the other side and talking about the Pirates, why they waited so long. Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
5:10 tonight, Pirates and the Padres rubber match of their series in San Diego. Andrew Heaney on the mound for Pittsburgh, Randy Vasquez for San Diego. Our coverage on the Fan begins at 3:40, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. Ben Cherington show this afternoon at 4:10. For more, get to 937thefan.com. Fan headlines are powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Introducing a completely redesigned Dick's Experience, a reimagined sports destination with an expanded assortment of the latest apparel and footwear styles from Nike, Adidas, Kalia, and the North Face, and the best gear to improve your game. Plus interactive experiences. Perfect your swing with TrackMan golf simulators. Test your skills in our multi-sport cage. Welcome to an entirely new next-generation Dick's. Grand opening weekend, June 20th through 22nd at the Waterworks.
Hey, it's Andrew Filipponi for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 93.7 The Fan, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Man, this has been a wild ride, these NBA playoffs, especially in the East, where we've seen huge upsets, and that trend has continued with the way the Pacers have handled the Knicks, the 4 seed, going to Madison Square Garden, winning the first 2 games of that series, and turning this thing into an incredible shot for a team to get back to the finals for the first time in 25 years. And a big part of it is that kid from Pittsburgh, TJ McConnell, and the work he's doing with them. Watch these games, bet these games on America's #1 sportsbook, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Andrew to join today. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now eligible bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem. Code 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platform.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor. which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text LEAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text LEAP to 321-321. That's LEAP to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
And welcome back to a Saturday afternoon with Jason Mackey. Talking a lot of Pirates. Here as we kick off our show, Joel Nelson producing. Got to some of your calls in the last break. Do want to tell you can join Pomp and Joe as they broadcast live from Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union in Wexford on Monday from 10 until 2. Enjoy a Caribbean barbecue lunch, make a $20 donation, and get a Fan 5-Alarm t-shirt while supplies last, or make any donation to help out the Fan 5-Alarm Marathon presented by Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union. Just to restate kind of what we're talking about, the Pirates waited too long to do something with Donnie Kelly. I'm not saying the Pirates are world beaters now. I'm not saying they're out of the woods. I'm not saying their problems are fixed. They are not. But they're playing a better brand of baseball. They've gotten some impressive starting pitching. You saw it last night with Bailey Falter, who was fantastic in May. They're getting some more timely hitting. They're making the plays that should be made. They have the fourth best fielding percentage in Major League Baseball since Kelly took over. And you can kind of see a recipe developing. They're doing things that make sense. Alexander Canario playing quite a bit, playing well. Henry Davis playing quite a bit, playing well. Simple, right? I just don't understand why the Pirates waited so long, and fielding some of your other thoughts as well. We'll get into some Steelers talk very soon. I want to talk about Mike Tomlin and the quarterback situation, oddly enough. What he did with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Do we think that had any implication on Aaron Rodgers and what he's been allowed to do? I want to explore that idea. And also Josh Harrison, Pirates fan favorite. He retired yesterday. You've probably seen that, but put something out on social media. Pirates energy guys. I was looking at a picture of Sean Rodriguez punching a Gatorade cooler. We're going to read through some of your favorite energy guys. That'll be a fun discussion as well. And Joel Nelson and I are going to get into some NBA talk. NBA finals are set. The Stanley Cup final is set. And Scotty Scheffler is dominating the Memorial. So some outside sports will look outside Pittsburgh as well. But right now, very much inside, very much talking a lot of Pirates. Let's get back to the phones. Dan in Ohio wants to talk about Nick Gonzalez and Don Kelly. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. How are you?
Gonzalez going to be back? I think he's going to be back Tuesday.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. He's very close.
And another name that I think has played a role in the Pirates here is Gene Lamont.
That's a good one.
A guy that he might not be a Hall of Fame manager, but he's managed before. He's taken teams to the playoffs. He has a good name in Pittsburgh. And another thing, he was a number one draft pick back in '65, which could help with Davis and their number one picks they have coming up.
I think that might be stretching it a little bit, Dan. Might be stretching. Gene had quite a different world than Henry Davis is experiencing.
Baseball is definitely different, but he had that pressure on him and everything. And you seen Lamont pull Don Kelly back out one time. He was going to go out and argue.
Yep.
Gene said, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
But I think Kelly is aggressive. He comes out. He sticks up for the players. They say you can't argue balls and strikes. Yes, you can. Sometimes you got to give up the game like on Friday night. That was a no-brainer. But still, you can't be afraid to argue if you think the pitcher's getting jammed in that. So I wish him the best of luck the rest of the year. Now, it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
Get Nicky G up here.
No, I appreciate the call, Dan. Thanks, man. Yeah, Don Kelly's on pace for 18 ejections this season. Going to probably want to tamp that one down. All right, let's go to Nick in Mars. Has some thoughts on the Pirates. What's up, Nick?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not a lot.
I kind of agreed with the guy that was kind of a jerk, to be honest with you. I don't agree with just home runs. That's really not the issue. But I think in a smarter way of explaining, we should have been at this point by now. So this is what the Pirates have struggled with, and the fan base and the ownership. It's always like, well, look at us. We're now, now we're kind of turning the corner. We're playing decent ball now. Like, the future is bright, and that's just the dead end. And we can't have that mindset anymore. And now, I understand it's better to watch, and it's more entertaining, and we're happy to see it. But this is what pigeonholes them into this mindset of, hey, look, we made it the right move, and now look, everything is right. We didn't have a big free agent guy, but we're still playing decent and blah blah blah. See, like, that's got to change. Like, you actually do have to have a free agent. You have to have a third baseman that can hit home runs.
Yeah.
You have to have a first baseman that can hit home runs. I mean, that is part.
I mean, I'd hope they're still aware of that, Nick. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with any of it. If anything, I'd hope that they can look at this year and realize that they screwed up by not signing an actual free agent, because that's another input.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, and I hope that they do that too. But I think the biggest problem with the Pirates, aside from just the ownership, I don't really care about saying that anymore because it's not going to change. But who's Ben Cherington, even the guy before that, whatever. They're missing out on, when you have high draft picks, aside from Paul Skeens, who was a can't miss, you can't like miss on high draft pick guys.
Yes.
Like they obviously cannot, scout and do the due diligence to see if these guys can actually play and be successful at this next level. So that's got to change too. I don't know where that is, and obviously Cherington and scouting department, but I mean, they've been missing out on prospects for 25 years. I mean, if you look at some of their first round picks, Cole Tucker, Newman, I mean, we need a shortstop, and we've drafted 7 of them, it feels like, in the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I'm going to cut you off there, Nick, because it's getting repetitive. I appreciate the call. Yes. I don't know what else to say. Like, they haven't drafted well enough. There's not enough power. They should have signed a free agent. All this stuff. So I mean, you disagree with the idea that they're playing better baseball, or you don't care because of all these other things that you feel like are holding the Pirates back. That's totally fair. If you look at this regime and question it based on what they've done, I don't blame you. I do too. I don't know what to tell you. Like, they should make a move. I say this every time I host a show. Like, I think they should move on from Ben Cherington immediately. I've written that. I've said that. Pretty open about that opinion. I don't think he's done a good enough job in drafts. If you look at 2020, 2021, 2022, and I understand the 2020 draft was shortened, but you can add up, and those are drafts to me that are mostly fair game. If look at the 2024 draft, like, you can't expect a guy from that draft to contribute to the major league team. That's just not realistic. But you'd like to have something from 2021 and 22. The Pirates have obtained fewer than 2 wins above replacement out of all 3 of those drafts combined. That's not good enough, especially for a team in a small market. You have to do a better job and add in a poor job signing free agents, plus not signing enough of them, a poor job trading, a poor job obtaining international talent. Like, those are all boxes you have to check as a small market team, and they haven't checked them. And to the point about spending and bringing an outside free agent in here, geez, oh man, I mean, I hope you can look at this offseason and say, yeah, let's not spend on analytics. Let's not try to spend on 4 different people. Let's just go buy a first baseman. If that's not a lesson, if that doesn't beat you over the head, I don't know what would. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but, like, they better. They need to. It's pretty darn obvious. If you don't, shame on you. All right, Paul in Mount Lebanon wants to talk about the Pirates. What's up, Paul?
Hi, Jason. Hope you're having a Sunday fun day. You just said that they should move on from Ben Cherington, and I agree with you. Now, Donnie Kelly, he's from here in Mount Lebanon. He actually has a winning record. He's 10-8 because he's been thrown out of 3 games. Okay, he actually managed to a winning record. He's actually 10-8. Now, my question is, and comment is, if they move on to a hotshot general manager, this guy may want to bring in his own people, his own coaches, his own regime.
He's not going to do that. And by the way, Donnie Kelly's 10-11. I know what you're talking about, getting thrown out of games, but the performance of the team goes on Donnie Kelly's resume.
All right.
So
you think they're going to bring in a new general manager and keep Donnie Kelly?
Yes, I do.
I don't think so. I think this new general manager will confront Nutting and have him open up the checkbook a little bit more and spend some money. But I think I hate to say it, but I think there will be a new coach and a new general manager next year. Thanks a lot, Jason.
It's your show, Paul. Thank you. How dare I try to talk on my own show? Yeah, whoever the general manager is, and if he's going to get Bob Nutting to instantly open up his wallet, I don't know. Let's crown the guy. Must be pretty good then. Don Kelly's going to be the manager if the Pirates play well. Bob Nutting is a very big fan of Don Kelly. He's done a good job. They're not going to get rid of the general manager, bring somebody else in here and convince the owner and then dismiss progress made by the guy who took over, who's from here and everybody likes. That's just not going to happen. Bert and Ross Draver wants to talk about the Pirates, Steelers, and Pacers. What's up, Bert?
Just thanks. Yeah, I like Kelly. I agree with what you said. He probably needs to tone it down some over time. What's going to dictate his success, I think, is his ability to handle the ups and downs and the find the right pace for his team and deal with the tempo issues in the clubhouse and everything like that.
Did you say temper issues or tempo?
Tempo, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny that we're talking about Donnie Kelly turning it down a little bit. It's the most mild-mannered dude ever.
Hey, like they say, one guy outside the sport and one guy inside the sport. And that's a good thing if you can do that. I think he can bring a good old school energy to the team, and I think an important move is to bring Cruz to first base. I think they need to get some more natural athleticism and team speed, and let him do his Willie McCovey routine. I think he's got potential that way. The Pacers, I like the Pacers because of their conditioning over Oklahoma City, but the MVP obviously, makes the series a toss-up for me. And the Steelers, I think what they did, they tried. At this point, they've tried to create a better version of last year's team, better on the line, and a fresh running back, and everything else they did with a better receiver to replace Pickens. So, if that's all they do, that's what they're going to try to go with, maybe.
All right. Thank you, Bert. Appreciate the call, man. I would not move Cruz to first. No, thank you. And I don't think they're going to move Cruz to first. I think they've seen a little bit of improvement out of him in center field. I just wouldn't disrupt what he's doing right now. You also just traded for a first baseman in Spencer Horwitz. You're going to play him. And this is down the line, but you also have Nick Gonzalez. He's going to be coming back soon. He's a second baseman. You're probably going to play him there unless you try to shoehorn him into third. I'm not sure. Or into short, excuse me. I don't agree with the idea of moving your most athletic player, probably your fastest player, certainly your strongest arm, to a position where those things are neutralized. I don't understand why you would do that. Like, I'll put up with the learning curve in center. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a learning curve in the outfield. Now he's a gold, platinum level defender. I'm not saying O'Neal Cruz is going to get there, but I'll extend some grace. I'll let him grow. Yeah, he's done some stupid stuff. The throw he airmailed, I don't know if I've ever seen a throw like that. But I'm not putting him at first. I don't see that making sense. Dave in Morgantown wants to talk about Pirates ownership. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. So this is a question I'm glad I was able to get through because I've been wanting to ask this question for quite a while. I'm older, and I've seen the highs and lows of the Pirates from the 80s, 90s to the lows. All right? We had two or three very good years in the 2010s, correct? 2014, 2015, 2016, something like that.
Okay. What's your point, Dave?
All right. Here's the point. The Pirates were one or two pieces away from long-term winning, and ownership decided to blow up the team, and it's been losing ever since. I have no faith in, no matter who the GM is, that the product on the field is ever going to be what it was. Again, if they were not willing to make the team better when they had 90-some wins, they're not willing to make the team better now. That's my opinion. Thank you.
All right, Dave. Appreciate the call, man. Yeah, I mean, if you're upset and skeptical, you're allowed to be. It's not my job to talk you away from that. I will provide you with this, that they did grow the payroll. I think it got to $100 million. Then it went back down. You can criticize them for not doing a good enough job to sustain those things. Certainly fair. I would also highlight that it wasn't just money. Look at their drafts during that time. They were terrible. Look at the trading around that time. It was bad. Look at what you're obtaining internationally. It's bad. You know, those are the things that all good small market teams do well pretty much all the time. And then when they crash, the payroll goes down with it because teams can't spend their way out of it. And a lot of times teams won't spend their way out of it. And they end up, sort of retreating in their shell and trying to fix the other stuff. And they've screwed that up. And they've made mistakes there. And so you'd like to see, and you can disagree with them operating like this. Again, that's a fair criticism. But you'd like to see them draft, trade, build, and keep it going. And that's why it was so detrimental when they plateaued last year at 76 wins, and then they sat on it. They brought the same group back. They got even worse. Now they're behind now, and you're keeping the GM who's in charge of all this stuff around. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You see with Donnie Kelly what a little bit of urgency does. I don't even know if urgency is the right word. New blood, a new way of doing things, seeing if people respond. They've responded to Donnie Kelly. Might other departments respond to a different general manager? I don't know. But another thought that I have on why you would ride this out with Cherington, you ask, am I going to keep this guy at the end of the year? To answer that question, I would say I want to look at what the win total is, right? Like, how could you possibly keep the same GM in place if you win fewer games? Last year was already frustrating that the Pirates didn't take a step forward. Now, if they win 73, 74 games, how do you feel better about that situation? You can't keep the GM in that case. And if we look at this realistically, based on their record and where they'd have to get to win more than 76 games, that's an awful tough hill to climb. So at this point, I'm betting Cherington's gone at the end of the regular season. Then, let's work backwards. You're going to allow him to work around the trade deadline when he's not done that stuff well at all. That's why we're talking about the Pirates being in this position. He hasn't done a good enough job at the trade deadline. He hasn't done a good enough job at the draft. So now this outgoing GM, for I don't know what reason, you're going to entrust him to do those things and then fire him? That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to fire him. I understand that an interim GM is probably going to be limited on what he's allowed to do. Okay. You're probably going to limit the current general manager because you don't trust him to make a lot of moves because they haven't been good. All right, going to get to a break. Fan weather, though, is brought to you by Myers Law Group, Pittsburgh's choice for affordable legal services. Mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the 60s in Pittsburgh. Sunny skies and temperatures in the 70s in San Diego for Pirates Padres. So Cole Young is a North Allegheny product who debuted last night for the Seattle Mariners. Ended up with a walk-off fielder's choice. Just an awesome evening for him. We'll talk to Andrew Destin, former Post-Gazette writer who is now in Seattle working for the Associated Press. He was there for that game. We'll catch up with Andrew and talk about Cole Young when we get back. It's a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Game 2 between the Pirates and Padres is this evening at 5:10, and it's right here on The Fan with coverage beginning at 3:40. Presented by Keystone Custom Apparel, Andrew Heaney set to take on Randy Vasquez. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm one of the at-home coaches with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Honestly, I think the thing I hear the most is I didn't realize how easy it was. That first weekly they come in, they're like, oh my gosh, I already noticed that I'm not as bloated in my face or in my abdomen, or I've been sleeping better. I've been waking up with so much more energy. I don't need my coffee throughout the day. They're coming in a month or two later and they're like, hey, like my doctor said I need to lower my meds. I'm losing a ton of inches on my waist. I'm buying new pant sizes. And we're looking at the scale and we're like, yeah, your visceral fat's down again. That's fantastic. And we're celebrating all of these wins. And then we talk about, okay, next step. Let's talk about how to maintain it. This isn't over. This is just the next stage. That's what your health coach is there for.
Thanks, Mandy. This is Chris Muller. Easy weight loss with results that actually last. With Awaken 180 Weight Loss, you will succeed and you'll enjoy the process. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Ben.
It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
84 Lumber is proud to partner with Anderson Windows and Doors to present an all-new interactive showroom opening soon in Mount Lebanon. The 8,000-square-foot showroom will feature an extensive selection of Anderson products, including the 100, 200, and 400 series windows and doors, as well as A-series and E-series product lines. The space is designed specifically for personalized consultations, so homeowners, builders, and contractors can work directly with 84 Lumber experts to find the perfect Anderson products for their projects. See you soon at 1675 Washington Road.
Summer adventure awaits at Dick's House of Sport. Visit us all season to score the hottest outdoor essentials. Join our summer camps, climb the rock wall, host a birthday party, and more. Plus, test your skills or schedule a fitting in our golf simulators and multi-sport cage while fine-tuning your equipment with repairs, re-gripping, customization, and more expert services. And while you're here, shop trending styles from top brands you love, like Chubbies, Kalia, New Balance, Birkenstock, and FP Movement. Sport happens here at Dick's House of Sport.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly. Your hometown building partner since 1956. 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
Buying, selling a home, Gina Petro is where you want to go. She'll sit down with you. You agree on a price and a deadline. If the deadline passes, the home isn't sold. Gina will have it bought and turned into a rental. Call the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home in Pittsburgh. Gina Giampetro of Remax Select Realty. Call Gina, 724-602-9752. That's 724-602-9752. Google Giampetro of Remax Select Realty and look up GinaWillSellYourHome.com.
Hey, Kenny Chesney fans. Verizon is giving you and a guest a chance to win a trip to see Kenny Chesney play at the Sphere in Las Vegas on June 21st. That's you and a guest under the spectacular dome of the Sphere watching Kenny Chesney perform live. Plus, there's never been a better time to visit Verizon. Come check out their huge selection of phones, home internet, and so much more. From shopping to support and everything in between, it's your one-stop shop to get it all. Kick off summer the right way with Verizon and Kenny Chesney. One winner and a guest will win airfare, hotel, and tickets to see this unforgettable concert experience. Hurry to select Pittsburgh Verizon locations before June 11th for your chance to enter. Plus, learn more about our great deals on our best phones and plans for the entire family.
No purchase or payment necessary to enter or win. Must be a legal U.S. resident of Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, or Pennsylvania, age 21 years or older to enter. Enter now through June 11th. Void where prohibited. Sponsored by Verizon. For official rules and full details or to enter, visit Odyssey.com/sphere.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey sports station. Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Joel Nelson for Fan Headlines. Pirates take on the Padres for the rubber match of their series at 5:10 later today, where it's Andrew Heaney up against Randy Vasquez. Jason Mackey has you covered for the North Shore Tavern leadoff show at 3:40. Ben Cherington show at 4:10. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Andrew Destin joins the show now.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
One, two. On the ground, tap to first, bare hand back, coming home. Save! Mastrobuoni scores. Cole Young will eat for free in Seattle tonight.
That's a great call. I love that. Welcome back to 93.7 The Fan, Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey. Great stuff there. And we're, of course, talking about Cole Young, the North Allegheny product. Last night with the Seattle Mariners, makes his MLB debut, has himself a day. They beat the Twins 5-4 in 11 innings. Young winds up with the walk-off RBI, ends it. Just a fantastic night. Also got his first major league hit. So just a great night all around. Let's talk about it. We'll go out to the fan hotline where we find Andrew Destin, old friend, new friend, Seattle friend these days, was here to cover it for the Associated Press. What's up, Andrew? How are you?
Doing well, Jason. How are you doing? This fine Sunday afternoon back there, Sunday morning for me out here.
That's right. Thank you for getting up somewhat early. You were up, though. You were up and available. So what was that like at the ballpark last night?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a heck of a game in the first place because we had a fire alarm going off midway through the game, which delayed it for 10 minutes in between the third and the fourth innings. I was actually the pool reporter for the Seattle media, so I talked to Bill Miller, the crew chief of the umpires, just talking about what a wild game it was in that way. Carlos Correa and Rocco Baldelli got ejected for arguing balls and strikes. There was a lot going on, but most importantly, there were about 38,000 people there last night at the game, which was a 4 o'clock first pitch out here. And, Cole Young just really impressed from the start. We didn't get a chance to talk to him as reporters until postgame. I had the fortune of chatting with him last year at the Futures game out in Arlington, him being the North Allegheny product when I was still at the Post-Gazette. And, yeah, I mean, he just lived up to his billing, got a standing ovation his first time up. I mean, the guy was the number 21 overall pick a few years back, so he was certainly somebody that Mariners fans were looking forward to watching, and I think he lived up to all the hype and more, at least as far as the debut goes.
Yeah, that takes me into my next point, Andrew. I was reading he's Seattle's highest-rated middle infield prospect to debut in a decade. There's a lot of hype surrounding him. I was wondering if you could kind of put into perspective how Seattle baseball fans are thinking about this kid.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it from the Mariners' perspective of what exactly their middle infield options have looked like over the last decade or so. I mean, it hasn't really been that pretty. J.P. Crawford has solidified things at short. He's certainly more known for his glove than the bat. At second base, it's been a lot of rotating characters, and the team is in need of a jolt offensively. I mean, it's funny, actually, chatting with folks out here, because going from covering the Pirates to the
Sounds
Mariners.
like the same thing.
Yeah, there really are a lot of similarities. The difference is just this team has a winning record, and the Pirates, well, not so much. But in seriousness, no, there's a lot of similarities in the teams, and what they kind of need is an offensive jolt, because a lot of guys who were big contributors last year on the offensive side not healthy or not meeting expectations. This team right now has basically been Cal Raleigh going into God mode, and a bunch of supporting characters kind of sort of pulling their weight. So they're looking for an offensive charge, and at second base, they haven't found a solution in a number of years. And it seems like, as far as prospect status goes, Cole Young is the guy that they're looking at to hold things down at second base. And funny enough, he's actually drawn some similarities to a number of Pirates second basemen of the past. Whether you're on the high end of the spectrum thinking he could be a Neil Walker type, or maybe more of an Adam Frazier, but a guy who will hit for high average, solid glove, and be an everyday guy there.
Is that something he talked about, like in his post-game scrum with you guys last night?
No, not necessarily, though. Funny you say that. If I were writing for the Post-Gazette still, I absolutely would have asked about that.
Sure.
As some fans on Twitter said, I should ask him what his Permanis order is and what he gets at Sheets. But no, I think that's certainly something. Those are guys that I know, being a North Allegheny guy, Neil Walker being a Pine Richland guy, that's somebody that he did kind of look up to a little bit. So I have to believe modeled the game after him a little bit, but who knows? Maybe that's a conversation for another day here moving forward to talk to Mr. Cole Young about.
There you go. Sunday afternoon show, with Jason Mackey. We're chatting with former Post-Gazette writer and current Associated Press writer Andrew Destin, who was in Seattle for Cole Young's MLB debut. You can follow Andrew, as always, on Twitter or X at AndrewDestin1. So it's a pretty crazy path for him, right? Like, he got pulled out of the AAA game on Friday, had to get to, I don't know where the AAA park is in relation to Seattle. It might be close, but had to get there. Okay. How far away is it?
It's about 45 minutes. So thankfully
geez.
it is. Yeah, thankfully it is really close by. Tacoma is just south on I-5 out here in Seattle, so pretty easy. The more stressful part for Cole Young was getting all of his family out from Pittsburgh to Seattle, which, as I learned in driving across the country, that is a lot of miles.
Yeah. Did he get a lot of family out there? Did he have a lot of family and friends at the game?
A smattering. It wasn't a huge contingent, but mom and dad flew out, his brother, his brother's fiance, and his childhood best friend. So those folks were all able to get out there. But he did joke that it was kind of a strange interaction with letting his folks know, because he was playing in the game, right? And his parents, as any good parents would be, tuned in to see how their son is doing in the game and realized, oh, shoot, Cole isn't in the game anymore, and he's giving us a phone call. What's going on? And so he calls him and lets him know he's been called up, and his mom starts screaming on the phone, and Cole starts crying and didn't sleep at all the night before yesterday's game. So it was a whirlwind of 24 hours, as he put it, pretty surreal. But parents got out there, brother and his fiance and best friend. So he had some folks from the 412 out there to support him.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And he had you there as well. How's the new job? You liking it?
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's at first
you're doing a lot of different things. We had your byline on a WNBA story in the paper today.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I really enjoy about it, is that I really liked the travel of covering baseball and hockey the last 2 years. Don't get me wrong, but it's nice to be in one city, and I'm sure it's something you can relate to in some ways. It's you have your hand in a lot of different things. You're always in tune with what's the biggest story of the day in Seattle, and it's allowing me some creative freedom to pursue some stories that I'm pretty passionate about. So got one coming out next week about the idea of women's hockey expanding in Seattle with the PWHL and how that influences young girls and women who want to be professional hockey players or want to be playing the sport at a younger age. I think those are really important stories. Covering the WNBA is important. And I'm really excited about the idea of maybe the Supersonics will come back here one day with NBA expansion. So, and covering the NFL isn't too shabby either. So dipping my toes in a lot of different baskets, and it's been really good so far. And it's good to be closer to home. I'm actually going to sneak back to visit my folks next weekend, which is really exciting.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. Last question for you is a fun one. Rowdy Tellez is in that clubhouse. That had to be awkward at some point What do you guys laugh about it? Just like give me a little, a unique personality. Give me a little clue into that.
Yeah, so I shared this with a few Pirates reporters. It was a really fun first interaction. So it was actually my first Mariners game I covered was one where Jorge Polanco had just a heck of a game. So I was going down to write a sidebar and was going to go talk to him. And I'm doing the classic reporter pose where you're staring at your shoes, scrolling your phone, talking to nobody. And I hear just Rowdy Tellez's voice perk up. And I'm like, oh, I know that voice anywhere. He's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, well, I got a job in Seattle for the Associated Press. And he goes, they hired you? So it was a fun first interaction, and it's been good to see him around the clubhouse. But he did tell me afterwards, in classic Rowdy Tellez manner, as he was joking, saying, hey, congratulations. Happy to have you out here. So good to have a familiar face.
Good stuff, man. Andrew, thanks so much for joining me. Always a pleasure. Keep up the great work. I love reading your stuff.
Thanks so much, Jason. The feeling is mutual. Great talking, and we'll do it again soon sometime to talk more Cole Young.
All right, for the next Pittsburgh baseball player who debuts with the Mariners, I'm having you on my show. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. That's how I like it. Have a good one, Jason.
All right, Andrew Destin from the Associated Press, formerly the Post-Gazette. All around, just wonderful human being and a super talented young writer. Love seeing what Andrew has done. You can follow him if you don't already at Andrew Destin1. And he was there for Cole Young's MLB debut last night for the Mariners. Sounded like a really crazy game. He was describing a fire alarm going off and managers getting ejected and all that stuff. But just an awesome moment for Cole Young, the WPIAL representing well. Cole Young, the second youngest WPIAL baseball player ever to debut, and it's one that he's not going to soon forget. Certainly not. All right, fan Twitter. It's brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. You can visit them at southhillskia.net. The fan text line is brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit of Steelers, wedge it in there. I'm not contractually obligated. I'm just interested about some of the decisions made by Mike Tomlin last season with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and how they might have impacted what he's done and what the Steelers have done so far with Aaron Rodgers. Have that. Joel and I are going to get you previewed, get you read up, get you knowledged. I'm just inventing words at this point. On the Stanley Cup Final and the NBA Finals. That'll be fun. Matt Capps is going to join me at 3 o'clock to talk a little bit more Buccos. And I want to delve into the idea of energy guys, who has brought some juice, as Mike Sullivan would say, to the Pirates dugout, in lieu of Josh Harrison retiring yesterday. It's a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey. Thanks so much for finding us. Don't go anywhere. Back after this on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
5:10, just under 3 hours from now, Pirates and the Padres have the rubber match of their series, where it's Andrew Heaney up against Randy Vasquez. 3:40 is the North Shore Tavern leadoff show with Jason Mackey. Ben Cherington show follows at 4:10. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274 today.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Introducing a completely redesigned Dick's Experience, a reimagined sports destination with an expanded assortment of the latest apparel and footwear styles from Nike, Adidas, Kalia, and the North Face, and the best gear to improve your game. Plus interactive experiences. Perfect your swing with TrackMan golf simulators. Test your skills in our multi-sport cage. Welcome to an entirely new next-generation Dick's. Grand opening weekend, June 20th through 22nd at the Waterworks.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text SCHOOL to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text SCHOOL to 323232 right now. Text SCHOOL to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's SCHOOL to 323232. Text SCHOOL to 323232 now.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins.
I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is the best place to find all your favorite player props as we enter the conference finals here in hockey and basketball. You can make the smarter play with new performance trends. You want to see if a guy's hitting that over consistently, maybe flirting with a potential triple-double? Get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. Once the game starts, that's when things get interesting. You can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So if you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Starkey, STARKEY, to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
And welcome back to a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey. Thanks so much for finding us. Joel Nelson producing behind the glass. A lot to still get into here. We're about, halfway mark, something like that. I do want to talk about the Steelers and quarterbacks and Mike Tomlin and how they all fit together. I know that's a topic that nobody has ever heard before, so going to chew on that a little bit, hopefully in a slightly different way. Couple bits of news from San Diego, though. The Pirates lineup is out, as well as their rotation for the next series, which tells us something about Bubba Chandler. First, the lineup, though, O'Neal Cruz leading off in center field, Andrew McCutchen batting second, the designated hitter, Brian Reynolds in right field batting third, Spencer Horwitz at first batting fourth, Ke'Bryan Hayes, the third baseman, batting fifth, Adam Frazier at second, Tommy Pham in left, Andy Rodriguez behind the plate, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at short, and Andrew Heaney, of course, starts. So that rotation for the Astros series, I had thought, hoped, speculated, there's an opportunity to get Bubba Chandler in there, and the Pirates are not taking it, at least not for this series. They're going to give Mike Burrows another turn. Paul Skeens gets the ball on Tuesday, Burrows goes Wednesday, and it's Mitch Keller on Thursday against the Astros at PNC Park. But all right, as we turn our attention a little bit to Steelers stuff, because I wanted to make a point on this. I found it interesting as I was reading and prepping for the show. Have we thought about, sort of where this plan started, the genesis of all this? And I was mentally peeling away the layers and all this stuff. And it started with something Albert Breer said on the Bill Simmons podcast. And he was talking about Russell Wilson, Tomlin's handling of this, and how there may be a perception within the Steelers that he messed it up. And so here's Breer's quote on the Simmons pod. People there would tell you that the Russell Wilson thing undermined so many things in the last month of the season. And a lot of that building really wanted them to go back to Justin Fields. Tomlin was kind of, again, all on his own on that one. I think that's part of the reason why Tomlin liked Shedeur Sanders going into the draft, but I don't think Tomlin wanted to press the button again at quarterback after what happened at the end of the year with Russell. So I read that kind of quick, I know, but the idea was that because of how Tomlin navigated the Russell Wilson situation, and then late in the year not going back to Justin Fields, he had sort of lost some trust within the Steelers. And so he wasn't going to pound the table for Shedeur Sanders in the draft because he had kind of sensed that. I don't know if Albert Breer is adding 2 + 2 and getting 4 there. But I think there may be a kernel of truth, or it's at least an interesting idea, that how much stroke does Mike Tomlin have? Should he have? Or how did we get here through the eyes of Tomlin with handling his quarterback situation? Because it baffles me. And this is the part I said earlier. I don't know if I have a good answer. It's just an interesting to sort of like a thought exercise. Art Rooney II said a couple days after the season, or it was more than a couple days, but in his season wrap-up session, their preference would be to bring back Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. They don't do that. Then all of a sudden we're getting this smoke that Aaron Rodgers is real. That the Steelers are interested and they've thought about it. Number one, that tells me Tomlin is the one doing it. If Art's preference is Russell Wilson or Fields. But I also think it's interesting what Breer is conveying in there because of Tomlin, identifying Russell Wilson as the guy. Okay. And then I don't think a lot of people, maybe this is just my perception, but when they switched from Justin Fields to Russell Wilson, some people might have disagreed with that, but if you didn't think Russell Wilson was going to play as soon as he was healthy, I don't know what to tell you. That didn't surprise me at all. It did surprise me, though, that Mike Tomlin stayed with Russell Wilson despite the struggles, that he didn't bring Justin Fields back. I never understood that. I still don't. That they didn't find a way to better incorporate Justin Fields into the offense. I don't know whether that's a Mike Tomlin, Russell Wilson, hey, I got your back, I got your coach kind of thing. I'm not sure. And then we saw this offseason, whenever the story was leaked to Jerry Dulac, or Jerry reported it, however you want to say it, about the audibles line of scrimmage, you got a tough time seeing Russell Wilson come back from that. That doesn't look great. So if that's Tomlin, that was Tomlin's guy. He didn't want to go to Fields. He wanted to stay with that guy who then did that. It's odd. It's odd. It's also hard to imagine Tomlin being passive with something like this. The draft. You know, when is Tomlin passive about anything? Right, wrong, or indifferent? I know somebody's going to say, well, I don't know. Late in the first half when he has timeouts in his pocket, clock management. He's passive about a lot of that stuff. Stopping runs, passive about that. But a decision about who to take, I have a hard time believing Mike Tomlin's sitting on his hands somewhere. That doesn't make any sense. I could imagine Tomlin pounding the table about something and Art II or somebody else telling him, whoa, Mike, I'm not sure you have it going on with quarterbacks here. But again, it's the Aaron Rodgers thing contradicts that. So the thought process, again, is more just getting us from, how'd we get here? How'd we go from we'd prefer Fields or Wilson to we're waiting on Rodgers? And there's no good answer, but it is curious. All right, let's change gears back to baseball a little bit. I think this is an interesting topic. Certainly got a lot of feedback on it on social media. Energy guys. Josh Harrison is retired now. We sort of knew that. I had Harrison on my Saturday Conversations podcast. He was fantastic, as I expected he would be, but developed into a two-time All-Star here in Pittsburgh. The retirement was announced yesterday, in case you missed it, but just played all over. Played the majority of his time at second base. Played 338 games at third. Played a bunch in left field, right field, shortstop. A little bit in center and first. Was an All-Star in 2014. Hit 315 that season. Was also an All-Star in 2017. Hit 272 that season and hit a career-high 16 home runs. Just a lot of cool stuff, man. It was fun watching Jay Hay play ball. He was one of those guys that could just infect his teammates in a good way. And the Pirates have had a few over the years. I mean, maybe not as much as other teams, certainly, but every team has them. So I posed the question, with Josh Harrison retiring, who were some of the Pirates' best energy players over the years? Not necessarily their best players, but ones you love to watch play and had a knack for doing things that give the team a jolt. Joel, who's your favorite Pirates energy player over the years?
That's a great question, because I don't know, man. There are a good handful of them. It might just be Josh Harrison. Andrew McCutchen, at times, he could be pretty rowdy.
But he's like a franchise player. It's like a building block player, right? It's not an energy guy, but I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying, that like he could add a jolt.
Mitch Keller was pretty fired up the other night from Friday night after that weird strike call from Edwin Jimenez.
Yep. He was, man.
Andy Rodriguez?
Andy could be one on the current team, yeah. He's a spark guy. And some of the responses, though, Danny Torres, who does a bunch of Clemente stuff, said Doc Ellis, which I thought was interesting, and he highlighted. Intentionally hit the first three batters on the game, May 1st, 1974, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, and Dan Dreisen. Yeah, that's a spark. Doc Ellis might fall into the really good category, though. I don't know. It's still fun. You know, I'm looking at these replies, and there's like 75 different Pirates mentioned, and I'm not going to be able to mention all of them. Like R.J. Reynolds was one. So Bill Robinson, Steve Blass, Dave Cash, John Smiley. Sean Rod's up there. The Sean Rod Gatorade cooler was pretty darn good. I'm trying to remember when I was on the beat. It was with Adam Berry of MLB.com. We were waiting in a dugout, and it might have been Atlanta. Trying to think where Sean Rod played after he left Pittsburgh, but we were waiting on Rodriguez for a long time, and then he comes out, and we start talking off the record for a while, and there's a Gatorade cooler right there, and we're just laughing like, hey, this is awkward. This is funny. Who else? We got a Mike Easler, Lee Lacey, Rob Makoviak, John Wayner, Jose Pagan, Turner Ward, Gary Reedus, Omar Moreno, Joshua Palacios, A.J. Burnett, Joe Musgrove, John Nagowski. People forget John Nagowski. Tucupita Marcano, but only against the Dodgers. Travis Snyder, Melky Cabrera, Jack Wilson, Freddie Sanchez, Sean Rod. Why do the Pirates have so many, energy, weird, quirky, fall between the cracks guys? My guy for vibes will always be John Jaso, Niger Morgan. Oh, my gosh.
How about Carlos Santana with that walk-off home run and the dance against Milwaukee on the Friday night?
Yes. Although, yeah, energy guy. He was like an everyday player and pretty good, though. I guess I have to do a better job of drawing the distinction. Because J-Hay was an all-star and played every day, so why shouldn't Carlos Santana count? Tony Womack? Dari Moreta? I can't wait for Dari Moreta to come back. Either way, I hope he gives the money sign. Jose Tabata, Jason Kendall, Francisco Cervelli. No Putts Given responded with 12 names. I'm not sure I'm going to go with Lastings Millage as one of the best energy guys in Pirates history. Probably not. Neil Walker, Tony Plush. A lot of Womack, Russell Martin, Turner Ward again, Kendall. Palacios had got a lot of votes. Of the new era, I would say Palacios and Sean Rodriguez. And I agree wholeheartedly with them. Or the leaders in the clubhouse. Very good. Very good. All right. Finish up this topic, and we'll get to our final segment this hour before Matt caps at 3 o'clock to talk a little bit more Buccos. Go to John in Imperial. Says he has a solution to the Pirates' problems. Lay it on me, John.
Hey, Jason. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, and I don't know if I've heard anyone come up with a solution, so if I have, I apologize. But, one thing the Pirates are really bad at, and been bad for the last 20 years, is drafting, developing, promoting players, correct?
Correct.
We're really bad at that. Now, if you could think of 3 really good teams that are good at that, or just look at across the league at the top AAA players that couldn't make the majors, but they can't because the teams that they're in the minor leagues for, there's no room for them. And then my solution, I think, to the problem is instead of drafting the 5th player, the 50th player, the 70th player, trade the draft picks for the top AAA players that the other teams have. They are good at developing players. We're not. Just trade your draft picks.
You're not allowed, John.
And you must imagine the Dodgers would love the draft 5th, or the Yankees would love the draft 5th in the draft, right?
You can't trade draft picks in Major League Baseball, John.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Oh, well then. Okay, well, thank you.
You got it, man. Kind of shoots a hole in his strategy. I feel bad, but you can't. Yeah, it'd be a whole different ball of wax if the Pirates could trade their draft picks. And they could botch those trades. No, I'm just kidding. But can't do that in Major League Baseball. The Fan and the Pirates want to visit your teams in action for our youth baseball and softball showcase presented by Sheets. Parents and coaches, send an email to us at youthsports@937thefan.com to register your 12 and under team. And 93.7 The Fan may make a stop to your field. Details at 937thefan.com, brought to you by Keystone Custom Apparel. So the NBA Finals are set. Local boy headed there, TJ McConnell with the Indiana Pacers. They will play the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the NHL, we have a rematch and an interesting storyline that actually links to a Pittsburgh Penguins legend. Panthers and the Oilers. We'll talk about both of those things next. Going to lean on Joel a little bit, the NBA expert, or at least the NBA fan. We'll set the table and argue about which one's better, which one supplies more intrigue. I'm not sure which. We'll figure it out next Saturday. It's a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
5:10 tonight. Pirates, Padres, the rubber match of their 3-game series, where tonight it's Andrew Heaney up against Randy Vasquez. Our coverage on the Fan begins at 3:40, just over an hour from now, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. And the Ben Cherington Show follows at 410. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Fan headlines are powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274 today.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder & Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder & Associates reminds you to text responsibly.
Summer adventure awaits at Dick's House of Sport. Visit us all season to score the hottest outdoor essentials. Join our summer camps, climb the rock wall, host a birthday party, and more. Plus, test your skills or schedule a fitting in our golf simulators and multi-sport cage while fine-tuning your equipment with repairs, re-gripping, customization, and more expert services. And while you're here, shop trending styles from top brands you love, like Chubbies, Kalia, New Balance, Birkenstock, and FP Movement. Sport happens here at Dick's House of Sport.
Are you passionate about youth hockey but facing financial barriers? The Assisted Goals Foundation helps to provide funds for those who need it. We believe that every player deserves a shot at their dreams, regardless of financial circumstances. Scholarship applications are now open through the Assisted Goals Foundation. Don't let costs keep your child from hitting the ice. Visit our website, assistedgoals.org, to learn more and apply today. Together, we can break down the barriers and keep the love of hockey alive. Not in need, but love the sport and want to pay it forward? You can also donate online at assistedgoals.org today.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-0766, 800-390-0766, 800-390-0766.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
And welcome back to a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey. We'll be going until, when, Joel? 3:40. We'll put on the Pirates pregame in the North Shore Tavern leadoff show hat. But until then, it's fair game. Talk about anything and everything. Your calls as well, 412-928-9370. I have Pirates pre- and post-game duty. Excited to talk about the series finale between the Pirates and Padres. Should be a good ball game, as one John Parado loves to say. Excited for this pitching matchup, too. Andrew Heaney, lefty, against righty Randy Vasquez. Heaney was not great last time out and struggled a little bit against the Padres throughout his career, but he's due. He's due. And if the Pirates are able to take a series, that will certainly be a positive thing for them. So the topic of this segment, wanted to lean on Joel here because I don't know a lot about the NBA. I know more about the NHL. I'm not an expert on the NHL by any stretch, but just have a little bit of familiarity over there. Which are you more excited to watch, the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup Finals?
That's a really good question.
What about you, Joel?
When you put it that way,
you're excited to watch the NBA stuff. Come on.
So I think it's almost 50-50 because I'm more of an NBA guy, but I think the Stanley Cup Finals will be the better series. I think Oklahoma City is going to take down the Pacers in 5 games, and it's going to be in Oklahoma City. They're going to win a few of their games by a lot of points because they are very deep. They are that good. It's almost like what's the regular season award in the NHL again?
The President's Trophy.
Yeah, it's like
that's what
if
the
Oklahoma
Thunder
City,
are, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, they were the equivalent of that, and no one else was really close, especially in the Western Conference. Indiana, they weren't even the best Eastern Conference team going into the year. Oklahoma City, I think, is going to just take care of business. Might end up being a little bit of a boring NBA Finals, but it is nice to see a couple small markets in the finals there. And then NHL, I think that's got the chance to go at least 6 games.
Oh, that's got to go 7.
Maybe 7.
I hope.
All the way down to the end?
All the way down to the end. The bitter end. The bitter end, just like last year.
I think Edmonton gets revenge this year.
I think they do too.
That's going to be the better series than the NBA Finals, if you had to ask me right now.
Yeah, so I want to get back to the NBA Finals in a second, but here's what intrigues me the most about the NHL and the Stanley Cup Final. It's like Sid. This is like an NHL thing. I didn't even grasp, like I knew it, but I didn't know it. You know when that happens? Like Connor McDavid and the Oilers lost to the Florida Panthers last year, right? It's Connor McDavid's first time in the Stanley Cup Final, brutal loss. Everybody felt bad for McDavid. I think he breaks through this year. It's actually very similar to what happened with Sid in 2008 and 2009. The same thing happened with Gretzky. Did you know that?
No, that's crazy.
Gretzky with the Oilers in 83. Went to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time. Oilers lost to the Islanders. A year later, he got his revenge. Sid, in 2008, go to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time ever, lose to the Red Wings. A year later, he got his revenge. So Edmonton now, Connor McDavid, lose to the Panthers in 7 last year. A year later, he gets his revenge.
Feel like it's meant to be, and he's probably going to win. It's the Conn Smythe Trophy, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think McDavid's got to win the Conn
Feels
Smythe.
like it's meant to be something like that. Probably put together. Man, if they were to play 7 games, you would think he gets multiple points in like 5 of those, right?
Yeah.
And probably 1 in every game.
No, that being said, Joel, Florida's a juggernaut, man.
They are. And this is their 3rd Eastern Conference win in a row.
Yep.
Like that's really hard to do. Tampa Bay did it, right?
Yep. Tampa Bay did it. And like you peter out eventually, but I don't know if Florida's peaked. Like, they could easily win this, and it wouldn't surprise me either. I'm actually pulling for McDavid a little bit.
Me too, because it's like Alex Ovechkin in 2018. I know Penguins fans don't want to hear this and stuff, and the same deal with McDavid versus Crosby, but McDavid, at some point, he's got to get a ring.
Yes.
And I know he's got Leon Draisaitl right next to him. They're almost like dare I say, a 1A and 1B. A little bit more than that.
It's a hockey term, Joel.
But Connor McDavid, very, very due. And they've got some good guys on that team, too, after McDavid and Draisaitl. But they're very due. Because Connor McDavid's been in the league for almost a decade now, right?
Yep. Hard to believe. It's hard to believe. It's a really good team, though. They've retooled. I mean, the Panthers have made this a yearly thing, and they keep doing it better. Like adding Brad Marchand. I hate him, but, I'd want him on the Penguins.
The cool thing about the Panthers is they have so many solid guys. It feels like they don't have that superstar. If either McDavid or Draisaitl were on the Panthers, they would be the absolute superstar of that team. Florida's just got a lot of, guys who are a little bit under being a superstar. Reinhart, Bennett, Kachuk. I'm probably missing some other names.
Barkov is a very quiet
guys
captain,
who
sort of star. Yeah.
Maybe have that superstar potential, may not ever reach it, but a little below that, but there are just a lot of them.
What if McDavid loses again? Is he a choker? I
No,
mean,
because
the narrative around Sid is that he's a winner, one of the all-time greats when it comes to winning. I feel like McDavid will be one of the all-time great bridesmaids at that point.
Feels like it. Unless at some point, and they've made it 2 times in a row, this is not going to be Connor McDavid's last Stanley Cup Finals trip. They're going to be here again at some point in Connor McDavid's career.
What do you think about the breaks between games, Joel? I was thinking about, and I hate it. I hate this. So it starts on Wednesday with game 1. They go Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Friday. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 scenarios there where there's a 3-day break. Come on.
So, and I think it's because of all the mileage, right? Going from
it has to be
the southeastern part of the United States and then all the way into the northwestern part of Canada.
Yep.
Or at least the central part of it. It's not like it's Detroit's in the Eastern Conference, right?
Correct.
So it's not like they're going from Detroit to Edmonton or anything where it's much more reasonable.
Well, they might be, because I don't think you're getting many direct flights from Lauderdale to Edmonton.
Sure.
Or any direct flights.
Ideally, if they're switching cities, you can put
it's
multiple days in between, but that's weird.
The other reality is it takes 7 hours to get from Edmonton's airport to downtown Edmonton. The 3 longest in North America. I've been everywhere. Pittsburgh, Denver, and Edmonton. And Edmonton might take the cake.
From where to where again?
For downtown where the rink is to where the airport is.
Really?
Out in the middle of nowhere. Yep.
A full day?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe if you're taking a bicycle. No, but it's a solid 40 minutes. So funny story, my first year on the Pens beat, go to Western Canada. This is all still new to me. This is, 2014, 2015. And so I'm looking at Edmonton's airport. And the way you do things in hockey, you generally get an early flight out, especially in a snowy city. You don't have to deal with delays or whatever. You're short on sleep. You get up, you make it. So I get my first flight out of Edmonton. I think I was going to, it was either Calgary or Vancouver. I can't remember which. But so I'm up way early. I've got a rental car. It is minus 22 Fahrenheit. I forget what the Celsius temperature was, but I can remember the Fahrenheit temperature. And so I drive to the airport, what I think is the airport. I had put it in Waze or Google Maps, and remember, this is 10, 12 years ago, so it's still somewhat primitive. And I drive there. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm making great time. I wind up in an open field. It is the Edmonton equivalent of the Allegheny County Airport. I put in the wrong airport code. I got to an airport, just not the one that flew to where I was going to go. I am panicking, dude. I am so and I had left myself enough time that I could still, if I really stepped on it, get to the actual airport, which was another 45 minutes away. And it's, 4:30 in the morning. I've got no sleep. And there's snow on the ground. It's minus 22. But I'm like, screw it. I got it. And I made it. I made the flight somehow. But that was...
that's incredible.
Epic travel fail. I'll never forget that one. That put some hair on your chest as a beat writer. All right. Let's stop talking about me, though, and let's talk about the NBA a little bit. Why should I care about the Oklahoma City Pacers final? And I already do care about it. You don't have to talk me into it. I'm hooked, Joel. I got like a whole page of NBA notes and stuff that I've learned. I'm all excited about it. But
there's some exciting players.
What are your storylines?
Both sides. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, is like the main piece of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's kind of like the now McDavid is better at hockey than SGA is at basketball. But, I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has turned himself into a superstar and is the main piece of what is a stacked Oklahoma City team. But they're going to be facing, the Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton, who, that one game against New York where he did the choking thing like Reggie Miller.
Yep.
So they're bringing some swagger and some aura and whatever else you want to call it to that series. They're going in with some momentum. They were the better team than the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals, even though that series went 6 games. Indiana's got some good pieces too. Pascal Siakam, he won a ring with Toronto in 2019, so he knows what all this is like and getting this far in the playoffs and such. Oklahoma City is just really good where it doesn't matter which Eastern Conference team you put in front of them. They're probably going to win the series, and I think they're going to get it done pretty steadily, I would say. They beat the Timberwolves by a good handful of points in a couple of their games in the Western Conference Finals.
Joel, I didn't understand until recently just how dominant the Thunder was.
Right.
To see, like, holy crap, man.
There were so many times in the regular season where they were a, 15, 16 and a half point favorite in a lot of their games, sometimes upwards of 20-something points, because they were just that much better than a lot of their opponents on paper in the regular season.
I was reading a story about all of the lopsided wins they've had. In the biggest point differential, including playoffs in NBA history, was in 1970-71, the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they were in Milwaukee, right? I'm not misstating that. Maybe I am. I don't know. It was the Bucks. They outscored teams by 12.6 points per game. The Thunder are winning this season by an average of 12.5 per game. It's almost the largest average margin of victory in NBA history.
And I think they might just clear that in this series against the Pacers.
I have to find out if the Bucks were in Milwaukee in that year. Yes, they were. Okay.
Oklahoma City still gets a lot of really good stuff out of. They have 2 guys on their team named Jalen Williams, just different spelling for each guy. The main Jalen Williams, one of their starters, he puts up like 20 a game. SGA puts up like 30 a game. Chet Holmgren gets like, somewhere between, feels like 5 to 7 blocks a game. So he's one of the better defenders in the league. Just an added bonus to what is already, a very good OKC team.
Where's TJ McConnell fit into all of this?
He's got some good defense to him. While he doesn't play big time minutes, he's a respectable point guard in place of Tyrese Halliburton whenever he needs a little time on the bench. McConnell's a good assist guy. I wish he could be a starter somewhere in the league, but he's thriving with Indiana, of course. He gets a lot of steals, gets a lot of assists. He's not a crazy scorer, but and even though he doesn't score a lot, he still brings a lot of value in passing and defense to the point guard spot.
Joel, I have a harder time seeing Pacers and Thunder go 7 games than I do Oilers and Panthers.
Me too.
I think that's our better chance for a 7-gamer.
The better series will be the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah. But the more exciting sport might be
basketball.
The NBA.
Yes.
It's tough logic to follow.
If, let's say, the Minnesota Timberwolves somehow beat the Thunder and we get T-Wolves against the Pacers, I think I would have been more excited for that series. But Stanley Cup Finals, it's a rematch. And the Penguins got revenge on Detroit last, when they played in 08 and 09.
Yep. There aren't a lot of rematches in NHL history, if you can believe it. And this is the first rematch since then. There have been only 4 rematches in the Stanley Cup Final since 1968.
Wow.
How about that?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we'll see. See if Connor McDavid can get his cup. We'll be watching all of them. We'll be talking about it a little bit. I'm excited for it. Good either way. Also looking forward to some Buccos and Padres in a couple of hours. Again, this show will take you up until 3:40. At that point, I will change hats, not literally, figuratively, and we will move into baseball mode and be baseball only until 4:10. That's when the network stuff takes over. Fan weather is brought to you by Myers Law Group, Pittsburgh's choice for affordable legal services. Mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the 60s in Pittsburgh, sunny skies and temperatures in the 70s in San Diego for Pirates and Padres. We'll catch up with former Pirates pitcher Matt Capps when we come back, talk about the current state of the team. Always a good conversation with a Mad Capper who set up a Pirates trip to a naval base in San Diego. Want to ask Matt about that too. Don't go anywhere. It's a Sunday afternoon with Jason Mackey on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Your hometown building partner since 1956, 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or place stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text SCHOOL to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text SCHOOL to 323232 right now. Text SCHOOL to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's SCHOOL to 323232. Text SCHOOL to 323232 now.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey sports station. Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
All right, Joel Nelson for Fan Headlines. Pirates and Padres rubber match later this afternoon, a couple hours from now in San Diego, where it's Andrew Heaney for the Pirates, Randy Vasquez for the Padres, and the North Shore Tavern leadoff show with Jason Mackey begins at 3:40. Ben Cherington show at 3:10. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Matt Capps joins the show next.
If it matters in Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh sports. We're talking about it, even on the weekend.
That's cool.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
A little lob shot to Cruz, one out.
That's going to do it.
6 1/3 for Falter. Scoreless baseball. His magnificent May is through. And what a showing. One of the best months any Pirates starting pitcher has ever had.
Unbelievable. Terrific job by Bailey Falter.
You just heard Joe Block and Neil Walker last night on Sportsnet Pittsburgh talking about, of course, Bailey Falter throwing another gem. It's been fantastic. 6 1/3 scoreless innings last night against the Padres. An 0.76 ERA in May. The third lowest for the Pirates in the live ball era. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pirates are playing some better ball under Donnie Kelly. Let's go out to the fan hotline and get into more of that with the one and only Matt Capps. Fresh off of the field from his kid's game. What's going on, Matt? How are you?
Hey, Mac. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Doing great. Always great to catch up with you. I'm guessing you've been staying up late and watching some games.
Well, I did Friday night for a little bit. I saw the beginning. Last night I saw very little. We had an 8 a.m. game yesterday with my son and an 8 a.m. game this morning with my son about an hour away. So I tried to go to bed as early as I could. Meaning we left the house at 6:15 to get him ready. So I didn't see a ton. I saw the box score this morning when I woke up. I saw the first inning or so of last night's ball game, and then I was out.
I should have reeled you into my conversation yesterday about overscheduled kids and sports and playing too many sports and the demands that it places on them and parents, and it scares me.
It is scary. I mean, I see it firsthand, and I mean, case in point, the team we played in the 12:30 game today that we played against, like you go through that roster, and this is 12, 13-year-old baseball, mind you, and the roster is, half the kids are from out of the state. It's like They fly in for a weekend. It's unbelievable. It's incredible.
For 12 and 13-year-old baseball, they're flying in for a weekend tournament. Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it's wild.
All right, so let's talk a little Pirates, though. I don't think this is something you need to, it's not specific to last night or 2 nights ago, although I did want to get your impression on the call that was missed and if you had anything like that. But, Matt, since Don Kelly took over, I've been impressed with how they've been playing. What have your thoughts been, and how does that happen? Like, what kind of happens in a clubhouse for guys to unite around a new manager, and what do you think has led to the improved product under Donnie?
Well, I think chemistry. Chemistry and attitude, kind of mindset, belief in yourself, stuff like that. It's no different than any other job or career. When you feel good about what you're doing, the work you're putting in, and kind of there's a good feeling about your colleagues and your bosses and stuff like that. It's just easier to go to work every day and go that extra mile. And Donnie's such a people person and cares so much about the individual, and that rubs off. And you feel that as a player when your manager and your coaching staff, they have your back and they genuinely care about you and your best interest. It rubs off. And, I think that's the biggest thing that I saw when I was there right after Donnie took over. Was just kind of the mood. The mood all the way around was a lot more upbeat. Guys were getting the work in. Not that they weren't getting the work in before, but it's just a different feeling around the clubhouse, the field, the turtle, things like that.
Yeah, it's tough to articulate too. I've asked a few guys about it. It's just, I don't know. There's life, there's relaxation, maybe I don't know if that scares players or you just kind of wake up. Maybe you just hated the guy before. I don't know what it is. But yeah, there's just a different vibe, different feel. It's good to see it coming out.
Just to relax, I think is a good way to put it. There was almost a little bit of a tension
I think there's a lot of attention.
Yeah, a lot of tension, and some of it could have been kind of waiting on a move to happen. What's going to happen? The record's obviously not what we expected or anybody talked about or things like that. Like, there's got to be a move coming, and then everybody's uptight, and then the move happens, and they put Donnie in, and everybody kind of, okay, all right, well, the sun came up today. Somebody sang the national anthem. There's going to be a ceremonial first pitch. Okay, all right, let's go play ball. It's done. It's behind us, and you just kind of move on. There could be a little bit of that. I never played in a season where the manager was fired in season. I played for an interim manager, and then a new manager, and then a manager fired in the off season, and I stayed. So, I've said for years, like, culture matters. The numbers, the sabermetrics, everything like that people get so caught up in. Yeah, they matter too, but you can't just take a bunch of pieces and put them together and expect them to work together. It doesn't always work like that. And if it did, why would we play? Because it would be the Yankees and the Dodgers every year, the team that can just go out and buy the best numbers guys. But you look for the last 25, 30 years of baseball, the Yankees and Dodgers haven't won it every year. There's been other teams. That chemistry and that cohesion in the clubhouse, it matters.
Sunday afternoon on the Fan, chatting with Pirates broadcaster and former Pirates pitcher Matt Capps. A couple more minutes with Matt. Bailey Falter was awesome last night, Matt, and whether you saw him against the Padres or prior, I'm sure you called one of his starts in May, if not multiple. What have you seen out of him? What do you like about what he's doing?
Well, Bailey to me is really good when he goes after guys, when he commands a strike zone. His fastball is tough to catch. He's not overpowering velocity-wise. You're not going to see 97, 98 miles an hour. But when he locates it, the guys mishit it. And he does such a great job of commanding glove side into righties with a little bit of crossfire and elite extension that we talk about all the time. So that 91 to 93, it plays up. And you'll see guys kind of take some uncomfortable swings. A couple of years ago when he first came over in the trade with Philly, it was like, we're only going to see fastballs at the top of the zone and breaking balls down. Well, that doesn't play for a long time. And I think, he had to figure that out a little bit the hard way. They can be weapons, but when he turned the corner last year, I want to say it was about this time last year, late May, June. Well, really, he had that bad start in Miami. After that, he was pretty good from then on. I saw him using his four seam down at the bottom of the zone, and what that does is it gets guys to chase the breaking ball down. I remember talking to Trevor Bauer when he first came to the big leagues, and I was in Cleveland. His mindset was nothing but fastballs, hard in on guys, and breaking balls away. All right, well, in theory that makes sense, but you're never going to get a guy to chase that breaking ball that's, more than an inch or two off the plate because they see it away and they know it's going to break the other direction. They're just going to lay off of it.
Yeah.
They've got to be thinking about, for Bailey, that fastball at the bottom of the zone. They have to honor that. And if they think it might be the fastball that's going to stay through the bottom of the strike zone, now you're going to get swing and miss at the breaking ball down. And, he's been able to do that quite a bit, run that four-seamer down at the knees. And especially when he first started doing that, whether it was accidental or on purpose, we saw a lot of called strikes at the bottom of the zone that hitters are just standing there frozen because they see the ball out of his hand down and they anticipate it's going to be off speed and it's going to be a ball.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch him pitch and nothing's physically overpowering. He doesn't look like Paul Skeens. He doesn't have devastating stuff. He's got great extension, so it plays up like you're talking about, but I don't know, man. It's just hilarious watching this guy who's squatting on the mound before he starts his motion, and then he's throwing stuff that guys can't figure out. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, there's been a lot of guys that you watch pitch and, there's nothing that you're like, oh my gosh, no wonder they can't get hit.
Yeah.
And the guy that really comes to mind for me growing up in Atlanta is Tom Glavine. You know,
Maddox
when
too,
you watch,
yeah.
Well, I mean, Maddox, you could say, had the movement on his fastball.
Okay.
You know, and you watch his two-seam fastball, and it's like, okay, you know, that's not 89, 90 miles an hour, but look how much break it had on it. You know, Glavine had a little bit of that, but nothing that really, you know, blew your doors off. But he commanded his fastball. He changed speeds really well, and just got you to hit the ball. So Bailey has a little bit. I think he has better stuff than Tom. Tom, you know, maybe better command, but I don't think there's anybody living right now that watched Tom Glavine pitch that wouldn't take him on their team. So
yep, even now, shoot.
Right, right. So you know, Bailey, the kind of same thing. He's done a nice job of not beating himself. He's getting into pitchers' counts for the most part. He's, you know, inducing weak contact and, you know, just pitching off his strengths.
Matt, last thing for you, kind of a two-parter. I hope it's fun. Watching what happened Friday, I'm sure you've seen highlights or heard of it. You know, it's more in the public discourse with the missed call on Henry Davis. Have you ever been a part of something like that where a team is just, I mean, a call, right or wrong, decided the game, you guys go into the clubhouse, and you're just all like collectively seething over this? You have any good stories with something like that?
Yeah, I do. I was in Washington, and Lance Berkman, check swing. I was actually on the mound. Check swing would have been strike three, and, you know, watching replays and things like that, it was clearly a swing. And third base umpire said no, safe. And, of course, next pitch, you know, base hit, tie game, and we ended up losing. And, you know, everybody's frustrated. Everybody's pissed off about it. But it is what it is. The umpires are part of the game. I did see the reaction from Kutch and what he said, and that resonated with me. I mean, you do have to kind of earn a little bit of that, at least until the ABS system comes into play, which I think, you know, with how smoothly it worked in spring training, I think that's a sooner than later conversation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you have to kind of earn that a little bit. Okay, you come into the series, okay, this is the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we don't have that just yet. Haven't had that for a long time. So, you know, the Yankees get it. The Dodgers get it. Like Kutch said, you're in San Diego playing the Padres, who are a very good baseball team, and you know they kind of get that benefit of the doubt. So there is an element to that.
Good stuff, Matt. Thank you so much. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy watching the game, and see you in Pittsburgh real soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Take care. Matt Capps, former Pirates pitcher, current Pirates broadcaster, does a fantastic job. Also, all-star dad and youth baseball coach. Always good to talk to Matt about a variety of things. Didn't want to put him on the spot too much if he was unable to watch a ton. So I guess that's what that time off is for, allegedly. That was a good discussion yesterday, by the way. I really liked the youth sports conversation and how we've kind of gone off the deep end with that stuff. I heard Paul Alexander as I was driving home kind of continued it, and it's probably something I'll get into periodically as I experience it with my boys and what Matt is talking about kids flying in from out of state for a 12 and 13-year-old tournament. That blows my mind. Like, I understand pushing. That's a little bit much. It's a little bit much. 2 words Matt Capps said there resonated with me most. We're going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back and talk about them and some things that have changed with the Pirates and why. Fan Twitter is brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. You can visit them at southhillskia.net. The Fan Text Line is brought to you by Edgar Snyder & Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Again, those 2 magical words from Matt Capps. I also want to rank Steelers' positions in how I feel about them going into the season. Would love to get your reaction as well if you want to squeeze it in until 3:40. At that point, we change over to the Pirates pregame show. 412-928-9370 is the number to call. I'm Jason Mackey. It's a Sunday afternoon show on the Fan, 93.7 Sports Radio.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Pirates and Padres, Game 3 of their series, the rubber match between the two sides. Andrew Heaney up against Randy Vasquez. 5:10 is first pitch from Petco Park, and our coverage on the Fan begins at 3:40. Presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. Ben Cherington Show at 4:10. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The Odyssey app lets you jump back in time to the moments you missed on The Fan. Whether it's the Fan Morning Show, the Joe Starkey Show, or the PM Team, you can get caught up on all of it. When you're listening to The Fan, it's as simple as one click to listen on demand. Miss a great moment, great guest, we've got you covered. Download the free Odyssey app, search 93.7 The Fan, and tap earlier today to get started. It's the perfect way to catch up on what's happening. From Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Here's Comedians and Skechers Getting Comfortable, presented by Hands-Free Skechers Slip-Ins.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as Slip-Ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers Slip-Ins, you just step in and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, Slip-Ins are for the whole family, men, women, and kids. In all your favorite Skechers styles, find Skechers Slip-Ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Homeowners, if your home needs a new roof, call a Platinum Preferred Roofing Contractor. Owens Corning only selects the best 1% of all its dealers, and JP Roofing and Signing has earned that honor. They've accomplished this through hard work and customer satisfaction and offer the best warranty in the business. Homeowners receive $500 off any roof or siding installation. Ask about 100% financing, no payments for 18 months, and free estimates. All that, JP Roofing and Siding. Give them a call at 412-829-7711. That's 829-7711.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Visit Cigars International Superstore in Bridgeville today. Discover their over 6,000 square foot cigar shop, bar, and lounge with flat screen TVs and over 1,300 cigar brands. Mention code Radio12 in store. Get a free 5 Vegas Gold 5-pack with a $40 purchase. Limited time only.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft shoes, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Look for Mirafast at Walmart today. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Welcome back to a Sunday afternoon on The Fan with Jason Mackey. Thanks so much for finding us, and thank you to Matt Capps for squeezing in a little bit of Bucko conversation. Thanks to you, Joel, for producing. We still have plenty of time to go together.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting started, Jason. Just getting started.
So we'll flip over to Pirates pregame again at 4:10. I'm sorry, that'll be the network pregame at 4:10. I start Pirates pregame, our portion at 3:40. But until then, have a couple things that I do want to highlight. So Matt Capps said two words in that segment that I jotted down that I thought was very important, and the Pirates took a step toward that with how they responded to Friday night. Culture matters. And they talk about this a lot. I don't think it's a finished product. They have work to do on it. Culture includes a lot of things, right? It should include winning. It should include doing the fundamental things correctly. I talked about that in the open, how the Pirates have done a better job with that. It should include handling players properly. I think these Pirates are doing a better job. Culture. What does that mean for a team like the Pirates? And again, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying they're there. They're not. But they should be thinking about culture. They should be thinking about how they're communicating with fans, how they're doing things that are within their reach, controllables. And yes, like talking about the Bucko Bricks thing to your fans and handling that in a more coherent way, that's part of it. I'm actually talking more on the baseball side when I say things that are within your control. And I'm talking about maximizing your avenues for talent. And that should be your culture. It should be a culture of innovation. It should be a culture of doing everything possible to give yourself a competitive advantage. It's not going to be a culture of spending. It never was. It never will be. But that doesn't mean it can't be a culture of winning, of maintaining some sort of standard, of having pride in being here. I think that exists in the clubhouse. And I think we're seeing it with Donnie Kelly and what he's getting these guys to do. But I also think it was just kind of sitting there with Derek Shelton. And that's not a mark against Derek Shelton as a person, but it was not the right move to bring him back as a manager, and it was not the right move to wait until 38 games, into the season to make a move. It had gone awry. For whatever reason, Shelton was not getting what he should have gotten out of his team, and the Pirates kind of sat idly by, and now they're paying for it. But when you talk about setting a culture, and we've been hearing about it with this group for a long, long time, culture of accountability. What will be tolerated? Donnie Kelly's done that from the very early stages. There was a game during the last homestand where Tommy Pham got picked off of second base. I think it was in the 8th inning, the 9th inning, something like that. And Donnie Kelly was very plain with his language. He said, they can't get picked off there. If we're stealing, there's no reason to get picked off there. And today, notwithstanding, he's kind of hit Tommy Pham in the playing time because that's all you can do. He's not producing. Alexander Canario is producing more, so he's playing Canario. You have a fourth outfielder, and there's a time and place for that, but that's basically how Pham has been functioning. And today is part of that. He's going to get some at-bats today. But that's a culture of accountability, a meritocracy. The best players should play. It's not Little League. Everybody doesn't have to play. We don't have to change things every game. Your culture should be simplicity. And again, it's a very wide definition. You can stretch this thing as far as we need to. But I do think it has improved. I do. Even something as simple as how you communicate with media. I think Donnie does a very good job. Is he the world's most interesting? Quote, no. But is he straightforward with us and, tries his best to answer what we're talking about? Yeah. I think so. I appreciate simple stuff like just allowing us in his office. That's the norm around Major League Baseball. That was not allowed under Derek Shelton. Just something simple like that. You get a better feel for somebody. I think I'd like to see us evolve to the point of having off-the-record conversations with him and learning kind of what is happening, why some moves aren't made. It allows you to frame things a little bit differently. And I think that sort of push and pull, the stuff that was there with somebody like Jim Leland that Donnie knows about, comes with time. And that should be part of a culture. It should be a culture of admitting that change is not only needed, but necessary. I think this group, even within 6 years of being here, had somehow gotten stagnant. It shouldn't, but it did. Keep evolving. Should always be learning, always trying to change. But right now, part of their culture is not seeing a problem and being able to consistently fix it, and that has to improve. And with that, I'm talking about stuff like making a trade to address the offense, a free agent signing to address the offense, something like that. Really anything to address the offense. But they've got some work to do with that. They're not complete, but it's better than it was. We're going to change gears here. I want to finish up talking a little Steelers. I don't want to batter the Pirates stuff too much, but if you have any thoughts on either one, happy to take them on. 2025 Fan 5-alarm t-shirts are available online. Go to KeystoneCustomApparel.com and get your commemorative shirt. A portion of the proceeds benefit local volunteer fire departments. I did miss one call from Al in Monroeville, so I'm going to back up a second before I get the Steelers stuff. But Al wants to talk about Don Kelly. Happy to do it. What's up, Al?
Hey, Jason, yeah, I really enjoy your columns, too, in the paper.
Oh, thank you, Al. Appreciate that.
I think the difference between the managers is Kelly was a player in the major leagues, and I think that makes a big difference, whereas Shelton was not a player. He played minor league, maybe, but he never was a major league player. And I think the players really respect that, number one. And Shelton used to make a lot of stupid mistakes as far as baseball. And Kelly has a better sense of the game than Shelton does. And as far as Pham in left field, I think he's over the hill, and he should not be playing unless there's an emergency.
Yeah, and I don't think Tommy Pham is Donnie Kelly's, Donnie can't do anything about that. The GM put him on his roster. Donnie's trying to make the best of the situation, and he's your fourth outfielder. And he's playing Canario as much as he can, as he should.
Yeah, well, Canario's come a long way, too, in the last few weeks.
He has.
And at the beginning, he was sort of tentative. Now he seems like he's in place, whereas Pham is I think he's horrible myself. He's not a terrible fielder, but he's dropped a lot of balls out there and made a lot of bad throws. But I think they're on the right track, and I really enjoyed that game yesterday. That was a real masterpiece. And they only had 2 hits. In the game before, they only had 3 hits, the one that we lost. I missed that. I fell asleep, and I missed that third strike call. I didn't really see
So did Edwin Jimenez. Don't feel bad. He missed it as well.
Was it really that far off the plate?
It was. Yeah, it was a clear ball.
And someone was telling me that they're minor league umpires that they brought up. Is that true or not?
It is, yeah. He's a minor league umpire who was called up. And that happens from time to time where somebody's not available or on the injured list. I swear to God, that exists in umpiring
That was
world.
the truth.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, you're doing a good job, and I really appreciate you.
You got it. Thanks so much, Al. Appreciate it. Yeah, the call-up umpire thing, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, put training wheels on him. He's not allowed to call balls and strikes. Like, if you need him up here, you need him up here. I understand that's going to happen. All right, let's go to Doc in Claysville. What's up, Doc?
Hi, Jason. I'll tell you, I wanted to make sure I called in today. I want to apologize for my brain cramp yesterday's call.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I didn't want to keep you waiting because if you got the thought, let's fire it away, man. What do you got?
You know, that was the main reason I called, okay. But I will tell you that the team's playing a lot better since they changed the manager and the attitude. But I think they dug herself a pretty big hole there, but they're going to have to go every 10, like 7 wins and 3 losses, or 15 out of 20 wins. In other words, to creep back in, but at least they got a lot of games left, so injuries can happen. The Cubs got a big lead, but I'm glad that we're playing meaningful games right now still.
Yeah.
So mainly I won't have too much more to say today. Getting ready for the game naturally, but have a great show, Jason, and I like listening to you.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that so much. You have a great day as well. Thank you for calling. Good stuff. I love it. People that are so passionate about a radio show that want to call in and offer their thoughts. I love it. Thank you all so much for the participation. It humbles me every single time. It's a good time. There's a lot to talk about. I'm sorry the discussions tend to drift toward baseball, but it is June 1st. There's not a whole lot going on otherwise. I do think that's going to change this week. I expect the Penguins to hire a coach. Talked a little Steelers. I feel like it's kind of overkill. And there's some interesting stuff going on with the baseball team, so why not have at it? If we're doing the show in November, it's probably a little bit different. I enjoy the interaction. But I got 2 coming in here that Joel, I'm making him work overtime again, but he does a great job. Get you on hold and get you through. I was going to get to how I would rank Steelers positions. I don't know if we'll get there in earnest. I had them ranked linebackers, running backs, defensive line, offensive line, defensive backs, wide receivers and tight ends, and quarterbacks. I had quarterbacks all the way down at the bottom. Can increase a little bit with Aaron Rodgers. Wide receiver, I feel like they still need somebody else. But again, can't get to a ton. I'm going to go to Jim in Morningside. Wants to talk about Pittsburgh fans. What's up, Jim?
I listen to you all the time, and I just wanted to commend you on you take a lot of patience with some of the older callers that call in. I think that's great. I think that's great.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Right.
Anything on your mind with the ball team?
No, not really.
Okay.
I just think you guys do a nice job.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time to call. Bill in Weirton wants to talk about Edwin Jimenez. What's up, Bill?
Yeah, I just have a question, Jason. Since he was brought up from the minors and that was the first game of the series, and, of course, the umpires rotate, did they have to start him behind the plate? I mean, give the guy put
That's
the guy second base and they can challenge.
I know. I thought about that too, Bill. Why does he has to be up there and he has to do a game behind the plate? Why did it have to be that one? I don't have an answer for you. But I mean, I would imagine that they're doing assignments. Like, you don't think that it's going to come down to that call, right? Like, he's got to get thrown in there sometime, whether it's, Friday or Monday. So I have a feeling that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know if there's any rules that say he has to be behind the plate for a series or anything like that.
Okay, well, yeah, it was a 3-game series. Put him at first, second, and third, and he doesn't come into play there. But anyway,
yeah, I thought about that. But then you can't prevent him from always calling, from never calling balls and strikes, right?
I understand, but he is just coming up from the minors. I mean, you got 3 veterans out there. And by the way,
I know, but what about the series before, the series after? Then he's going to call.
I understand, but So is he up for the entire series, or, is it because someone was injured or ill or something?
I don't know specifically why he was up, but I believe he is up for the whole series. They generally don't communicate, like, the cause for a guy being a call-up umpire, but I do think they keep the same crew for the series.
Okay. Well, thanks. You answered my question.
I tried. Thanks, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate
Take
the call.
care.
Stoking my curiosity now. I kind of want to know what led to Edwin Jimenez coming up and whether he's going to stay here and what's going to happen. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to find that out, though. Joel, do you have any idea?
I mean, and here's one takeaway I've got is, like, these guys got to learn balls and strikes somehow, right? At the major league level.
Same.
You know? Like, it's not like there's some sort of, unless there's a set requirement of how many games you have to do in the minor leagues before Major League Baseball, but at the end of the day, the guy's going to be calling balls and strikes at some point, right? And he's probably been in the minor leagues enough where, he's at least okay to do a major league game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they pulled him off of the, like, Colt League field somewhere,
That's
in
right.
Shaler. Like, he's been doing AAA games. He's probably been a call-up umpire before.
And I know this is a 3-game series, but, I mean, you're never going to see the same umpire have home plate for, like, twice in a series.
Never.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing, well, I don't know what happens if you're, then technically it's not a series. I was thinking if you had, like, a makeup game tacked on or something like that. Like, let's say you play, you had a 4-game series and then had to make up a game because you had a doubleheader or something. But we're splitting hairs. All right. We're going to get to a break. This has been fun. I'll talk to you on the other side. I think I gave Joel everything in terms of reads. Yes, I did. And we'll be back with the North Shore Tavern leadoff show in baseball world on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Here's Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan's Fan About Town. Be a part of something new, exciting, and totally Pittsburgh. It's the inaugural Rockin' Regatta at Pittsburgh Brewing Company, June 7th and 8th. A brand new summer celebration packed with music, river racing, food, family fun, and more. Introducing sparkling spring savings for new members at WetGo. For a limited time only, when new members buy 1 month of unlimited washes, they'll get 1 month free. Bubble away bugs and polish off pollen as often as you'd like for 2 whole months for the price of just 1 month at WetGo. Window Nation's semi-annual sale. Mention you heard it on The Fan to get 4 free windows with the purchase of 4 windows, a free entry door, and no money down, interest, or payments until 2027. Hurry, the sale ends soon. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com today. For more information, visit 937thefan.com.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274 today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Gain Super Flings are here to take your laundry to the next level.
Talking about Gain Super Flings. Super size laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid.
Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly. 93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com. It's time for the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show. The North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show is presented by Keystone Custom Apparel and is brought to you by Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union, Spitzer Toyota, Pennsylvania One Call System, Tours Light at 365, and Stallone's Italian Bread. The North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show is on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
And welcome into the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show. I am Jason Mackey. What we have on tap for you today, little Pirates and Padres action from Petco Park, the rubber match of this series. Got a whole bunch to talk to and a whole bunch to cram into a short period of time. Again, this show is presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. What's on tap, is presented by Coors Light and Redbeard Sports Bar and Grill on 6th Street in Pittsburgh's Cultural District, where the kitchen stays open until midnight. We'll talk a little bit about the pitching matchup. Lefty Andrew Heaney looks to get back on track against Randy Vasquez. Some intricacies there and what the Pirates will need to be mindful of with Mr. Vasquez, who they saw not long ago, earlier this month. In fact, this is a repeat performance for both of those guys. One will be looking to have the similar results. The other will be looking to change quite a bit. We'll get into what's at stake, not what's on the stake, but what's at stake. The Pirates got off the schneid against the Padres last night, and they'll be looking to do a little bit more and finish off a pretty good road trip after a performance in Arizona and to kind of steady themselves further under Donnie Kelly. Talked about that on the normal show this afternoon about the progress they've made with Donnie, and they're going to be looking to play some better baseball. They can get back to 500 under their new manager with a winning effort today. We'll take a look around the league, highlight a local product who did some really good things in Seattle last night, and also take a look down on the farm. Let's start with the pitching matchup, though. It's a good one. Andrew Heaney, 3-4, a 3.41 ERA against Randy Vasquez, also 3-4 with a 3.58 ERA. Heaney will be making his 12th start of the season. The last start for Heaney came on Monday, also on this road trip. He went 5 innings, allowed 5 earned runs on 8 hits with 3 walks and 2 strikeouts in a 5-0 loss against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. It's been kind of a cold snap for Mr. Heaney. Has lost 3 of his last 4 decisions since winning back-to-back starts on April 17th and April 13th. It's the second time Heaney has faced the Padres this season. The other one of those, May 4th, lasted only 3 2/3 innings, gave up 4 earned runs in a 4-0 loss. Total against San Diego this season, 9 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings pitched. I'm sorry, that's wrong. That was his start, his last start, as well as the start May 4th. But a couple players to be mindful of with the Padres facing Andrew Heaney. They've had some pretty good numbers against him. Xander Bogaerts hitting .556, 10 for 18 against Heaney in his career. 3 doubles, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Manny Machado hitting .286, which doesn't seem terrible doesn't seem great on the surface. He's 6 for 21 with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and 4 RBIs. As far as Vasquez, he's the type, he throws a 4-seamer, a sweeper, sinker, curveball, kind of an even split of pitches. He doesn't miss a lot of bats. He tends to throw a few balls. The sinker is really good, and he will try to induce some bad contact. It's also the second start for Vasquez against the Pirates this season. May 3rd, in a 2-1 San Diego win, he went 5 innings, allowed 1 earned run, walked 5, struck out 3, but it was good enough. Like I said, control has been a bit of an issue for Vasquez. He has 27 walks this season and 32 strikeouts in 55 1/3 innings, throwing only about 61% strikes. That's going to be a key for the Pirates. We'll get into that a little bit later. Lay off the junk. don't help him out at all. The cutter, oddly, throws it the most. It's been a bit of a liability for him. Throws it nearly 29% of the time. Opponents are hitting .328 against it with a .484 slugging percentage. So if you're watching today or you're listening and you hear about a cutter, might be good things for the Pirates. We will see. All right, we'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look around the league. We'll go down on the farm. Also talk about what's at stake. Getting you ready for Pirates-Padres at Petco Park. I'm Jason Mackey. This is the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show. More shortly on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. But prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new. We're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Now, back to the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
And welcome back to the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show. I am Jason Mackey, taking you right up until, well, not game time, but an hour before game time. The Ben Cherington Show will kick off at 4:10. We'll get you to about 4:07. Some commercials. You'll get there eventually. You'll hear from the general manager before Pirates-Padres from Petco Park, the rubber match of this series. Excited for it. I don't know about you. Pirates have been playing some better baseball and excited to watch and observe more of it. So in the last segment, I went over the pitching matchup, Andrew Heaney and Randy Vasquez. Let's look at what's at stake, presented by North Shore Tavern, home of Steak on a Stone. The Pirates yesterday snapped an 11-game winning streak for the Padres against them. The Pirates are now looking to finish off a pretty darn good road trip. They took 2 of 3 in Arizona. They're looking to do the same against the Padres here today. To do that, well, we've got a couple different things to look at. We'll look at your keys of the game Now, let's go ahead and do that now. I was going to wait a little bit, but I was talking about Randy Vasquez, somebody who kind of loses the zone sometimes, has a tendency to walk some people. Don't help him out. Don't help him out. Be disciplined. Try to find the cutter. That's his weakest pitch. He's going to throw it a decent amount. Don't swing at what he wants you to swing at. He thrives on getting you to pound the sinker into the ground. Stay away from it. Stay motivated. And not that the Pirates are going to lack motivation, but there was obviously some juice in their clubhouse last night over what happened on Friday, what Andrew McCutchen said. Make sure to find a way to carry that over. Remember sort of what's at stake. Focus on where your season is and what it would mean if you're able to get a win here. You fly home to Pittsburgh with a 4-2 road trip. You've dug a hole, but you can't fill it in all in one night. So you concentrate your efforts and find a way to get one win and just move it ahead to Tuesday. Got the off day Monday. Enjoy it back home with your family and see if you can get it going against the Astros. All right, third one, let the stars be the stars. The Pirates, when they've been winning, they've been driven by Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, guys you expect to step up and score runs. They're obviously going to have to score a few runs, but looking at Andrew McCutchen, looking at Brian Reynolds, looking at O'Neal Cruz. Brian Reynolds is somebody I'm really looking at, too. I'll get to him in the lineup portion, but it's June, which means he's generally very good. A .340 lifetime hitter in June with a .981 OPS. Very, very good, and he's on quite a heater lately, hitting .388 with a 1.09 OPS, I think, over his past 13 games, something like that. Pretty sizable stretch. It's impressive. So, all right, take a look around the league. I got to some of this on my radio show just now, but Cole Young from North Allegheny had himself a day, made his MLB debut for the Seattle Mariners. And I don't want to say it was unexpected, but he was in the game at the time. Gets the phone call, has to figure out a way to get his family to Seattle. He is only about 45 minutes away, so that was the easy part. But lo and behold, gets his first MLB hit in the ninth inning, goes to extra innings against the Twins. Who has the walk-off RBI? Cole Young. Chops a 1-2 fastball from Cole Sands up the first base line. It's enough to score the run. And just a really special moment. Had Andrew Destin, former Post-Gazette writer, current Associated Press writer, on. He was there to cover it. Just a fun atmosphere. Certainly sounds like Seattle moves into first place in the AL West. A great night all around for the second youngest Whitfield product to ever make his major league debut. Fun stuff for Cole Young. Cole Young, by the way, was the number 21 overall pick in the 2022 draft. Started at second base, hit eighth. He was sitting at 277 and an 853 OPS at the time of his call-up. Down on the farm, we'll look at Pirates affiliates in Indianapolis and Altoona. Both rallied to victories yesterday with the Indianapolis Indians 8-4 over the Nashville Sounds. Hunter Barco started on the mound and struck out darn near everybody. Pitched 3 innings. He allowed 1 hit and struck out 7. Pretty effective outing there. Barco's been battling some injuries, but he looks just fine. Matt Frazier had a couple of hits, an RBI, 2 walks, 3 runs scored. One of those hits was a home run. Drake Fellows followed Barco. He went 3 innings to get the win. He allowed 1 earned run and struck out 5. Solid performance for the Indians. Altoona was down 5-0 in the second game of a doubleheader. Down 5-0 early, but came back to beat the Portland Sea Dogs 9-7. Nick Simillo had a grand slam. Simillo's been on fire. Over his past 15, he's batting .341 with the 144 OPS, 3 home runs and 12 RBIs in that span. If you've never heard of Nick Simillo, he's a 16th round pick out of Rutgers in 2022, again with AA Altoona. A little bit old for that age bracket, but if you're hitting .341 and you're able to maintain that, you're going to get a look regardless. We'll get to your starting lineups when we get back. Again, this is the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show. I'm Jason Mackey on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like finding a parking spot in front of a busy outdoor cafe where you're meeting some old friends from college.
Oh, a space!
And you're about to parallel park into that oh-so-tight spot. And then everyone in the cafe stops to watch. And you nail it in one try, like the parallel parking baller you are.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Nobody clapped, but you know they really wanted to. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey sports station. Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. 93.7, Now, back to the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show on Sports Radio 93.7, The Fan.
And welcome back to the North Shore Tavern Leadoff Show. I'm Jason Mackey. I'll be with you the entire evening. I'll be here for postgame. We'll turn things over at 4:10 to the Ben Cherington Show and then the network portion of pregame. But for now, want to get you set with the lineups. They're presented by Bet365. My bet to drive in and run tonight, it's not a real expensive bet. I don't bet anyway, but I'm going with Brian Reynolds. He's been absolutely outstanding, like I said before, hitting .388 over his past 13 games. He's driven in 14 runs during that time, so not exactly taking a huge gamble. For the Padres in right field, I should actually do the visiting team first. That's going to bother me. O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates batting first in center field. O'Neal Cruz, by the way, on pace for 33 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Another statistical nugget I will follow with it. Links him to Barry Bonds here in a few minutes. But in batting second, Andrew McCutchen, the designated hitter. Then three spot, right fielder Brian Reynolds. Doing cleanup duties, the first baseman Spencer Horwitz. Ke'Bryan Hayes playing third and batting fifth. Adam Frazier bats sixth at second base. Left fielder Tommy Pham. And Endy Rodriguez back in there doing the catching, batting eighth. And shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in the 9 spot. Kiner-Falefa, by the way, I looked this up earlier in the afternoon. He's hitting .304. But he leads all Pirates position players in wins above replacement, according to Baseball Reference. I did not have that on the bingo card. He's at 1.4. And since returning from a right hamstring strain, he's hitting .344 with an .876 OPS in 17 games. So look for something out of IKF tonight. For the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr., the right fielder, leads off, batting second. The man who never strikes out, always makes contact, Luis Reyes. At first base, the third baseman, Manny Machado, bats third. Center fielder Jackson Merrill in the cleanup spot. Left fielder Gavin Sheets bats fifth. Designated hitter Xander Bogaerts bats sixth. Jake Cronenworth, the second baseman, hits seventh. Jose Iglesias at short hits eighth. And Martin Maldonado doing the catching in the number 9 spot for the San Diego Padres. So I mentioned that O'Neal Cruz nugget. This is crazy. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, Cruz and Barry Bonds are the only Pirates ever to have at least 50 doubles, 50 home runs, and 50 stolen bases through their first 300 Major League games, or fewer. Fernando Tatis Jr. of the San Diego Padres did it in 246 games. That's the quickest in Major League history to reach, again, 50 home runs, 50 doubles, and 50 stolen bases. Cruz, at 288 games, he's the fifth fastest Major Leaguer to reach those marks. So if you're in the company of Fernando Tatis Jr. and Barry Bonds, feel like you're doing all right. Doing a pretty good job. Cruz on pace for 33 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Hitting .230 with an .828 OPS. Very good stuff from O'Neal Cruz. And I think that has satisfied, Joel, all of our scripted portions of things, correct?
Yes.
Yes. What's at stake around the league, starting lineups. We did it all. So now I can talk about a little bit more of a freestyling idea. But the idea of a starting rotation one-upping each other. This is something you hear baseball players talk about a lot. This is a favorite Skeensism, if you will. And it's a scenario that I think should or could or needs to play a factor today with Andrew Heaney on the mound. As I said, Andrew Heaney has kind of struggled lately. It's not been his best work. I don't want to say he's been terrible by any stretch, because the two starts before the last one, he allowed just one earned run over 5 innings. But his last time out against Arizona on Monday, Memorial Day, 5 earned runs in 5 innings. He's kind of battled his command here and there. Against the Padres on May 4th, goes 3 2/3 innings, allows 8 hits, 4 runs. They were earned, 4 walks. It hasn't been the pinpoint control that he would like. And so you take that into last night and the night before. Last night, Bailey Falter was as good as Bailey Falter can be. And he's been that way through a lot of the month. He's been fantastic. We talked about it on the normal radio show, but a .76 ERA, the second lowest for a Pirates pitcher since 1920. He doesn't do it in sexy fashion, but he gets it done by throwing strikes, by being deceptive, by tricking hitters' eyes, by disrupting timing. And that's a lot of what Heaney has done too. You see Heaney fooling around with his arm slot, and when he's on, that fastball inside to right-handers is devastating. He kept picking. You know, that was a couple starts ago. I want to see him do more of that. And so getting back to the idea of a rotation one-upping one another, the same as momentum and hitting can be contagious for hitters, it's the same thing for pitchers. You see the guy before you do something, you want to beat it. Mitch Keller set a standard on Friday, pitched really well. That continues a trend for Mitch. That's his 5th straight quality start. Has a 2.90 ERA during that time. Bailey Falter one-upped it. And now Andrew Heaney, very tough test with the Padres, needs to one-up him. And then Paul Skeens is going to have an opportunity to one-up both of them on Tuesday against the Astros. I made mention of this earlier in the show. Skeens Tuesday, Mike Burrows Wednesday, Mitch Keller Thursday. Notice that does not include any sort of Bubba Chandler. Bit of a bummer. Some people obviously looking to see Bubba Chandler, but I do sort of understand it. It could be trying to refine breaking stuff. I know Jonathan Mayo was on with Austin Bechtold on Bucko Talk yesterday, and that's something that he talked about. I think it was very much a light criticism, though. Anything that Bubba's working on, it's really trying to be perfect. And I got into this yesterday, too, and it's an interesting debate to me whether you bring Bubba up now with the team so far out of it and potentially risk a year of control, because at this point there's nobody who's established themselves as the favorite or the overwhelming favorite for the NL Rookie of the Year. So if Bubba comes up here, he absolutely can make a run at it. Is it worth it if you're running the business side of the Pirates? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to wait a couple weeks. I'll see you, I'll see you 3rd week of June or whatever it is. And oh, by the way, it's probably going to save you some money on Super 2 status. I don't like it. I wish the whole system was blown up. I wish the whole system was different and that they could that there was no reason to do that you devised something, and I'm not smart enough to do it, to get your best players up here and to not have to worry about such minutia. Nobody wins in that scenario. Could you imagine hockey? You have to wait for some artificial deadline to pass to get your best player up here? I don't like that. Best players should be up here, but I do understand the counter-argument. You could even look at it and say, you're wrong if you're going to spend a year of control now, because it's not really worth it numbers-wise. You're so far out of it. Why spend it now? Anyway. The Pirates have a sneaky important game today for the reasons that I outlined a little bit. But it's an opportunity to really build something and go home with it and kind of sit on this and enjoy it. I've been very impressed with what they've done with Donnie Kelly. I've been impressed by how Donnie Kelly has handled his team. I'd like to see him stay in today's game. That's goal number one. But this would be kind of a buzzkill if they can't pull it out, right? Because you feel like you should have won Friday, and they should have, or at least should have been a different opportunity to win. That call basically ending the game. It felt over from the minute that was called a strike. You win last night, and then you go home having lost 2 of 3, one of them in extremely disheartening fashion. It's a little different if they're able to pull it out, and then all of a sudden you've just snagged road series wins over Arizona and San Diego. And you go home and you got Paul Skeens on the mound. That doesn't stink. We'll talk about it afterward. Enjoy the Ben Cherington Show next. I'll be back for Pirates postgame. The North Shore Tavern. This has been the North Shore Tavern leadoff show, and we'll talk to you after the game.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with AutoPay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platform.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
This Odyssey Sports broadcast is brought to you by Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
It's time for the Ben Cherington Show.
High fly ball to right field. Where's this baby going? Oh, my! High
Clemente wall. This one is over the Green Monster, and this game is over.
Join us every Sunday, 1 hour from the first pitch of the game, as we get the latest on our Pirates straight from Ben himself. It's the Ben Cherington Show every Sunday. Now here's Greg Brown.
And good afternoon. We're coming your way from San Diego, California, where today the Pirates conclude their 6-game road trip. It's the finale and rubber match of the series with the Padres. The Pirates coming back after a disappointing 3-2 loss on Friday and shutting out the Friars last night 5-0. So a chance to win back-to-back road series in Phoenix and San Diego before the Pirates head home tonight, early Monday morning. Day off Monday, and then get ready for a long homestand starting Tuesday night against the Houston Astros. We are here in the broadcast booth at Petco, and on the telephone line with us is the Pirates general manager, Ben Cherington. Ben, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about what we thought was a really neat sequence there, where the Pirates very, very frustrated on Friday, losing that tight 3-2 game. They had taken the 2-1 lead in the 6th. The Padres scored 2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Pirates fight in the 8th. They get the bases loaded. Henry Davis is called out on strikes on a 3-2 pitch. It should have been ball 4 to force in the tying run, but the home plate umpire called it a strike 3. Don Kelly is ejected. A lot of arguing. Andrew McCutchen stares down the home plate umpire for an entire inning, and then he and hitting coach Matt Haig confront the crew as they exit near the Pirates' third base dugout. Just a lot happening, and then lo and behold, the next day, and a lot of talk about that from Don Kelly and Andrew McCutchen that, hey, we have to earn the respect. McCutchen closes the clubhouse doors, talks to the players about it, and they come out and win it 5-0 last night behind Bailey Falter, 3 relievers, 2 hit the Padres, a dozen hits for the Pirate offense, including a home run from none other than Andrew McCutchen. Just all that took place in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think you summarized it really well, Brownie, and good to be on with you. I think you summarized the sequence really well, and there is a little bit of both that, kind of fighting for each other, and that's great to see, and this group's doing that right now. They're fighting for each other, having each other's backs. They're in games. They obviously want to win. Those key calls really can make a difference sometimes. But then also, the recognition, and Andrew's right, that to some degree, over time you can start to earn those calls and, develop that reputation. It's probably no secret that Andrew's still getting his walks and still getting on base, and certainly most of that's skill. But if you're looking for the benefit of the doubt, sometimes you have to earn that over time. So I think both things are true, and certainly good to see that fight and having each other's backs. And Donnie and I do joke, and I did ask him just a little while ago if he had 9 innings in him today. So I hope that's all we need today, and I hope he's out there for all 9, but I expect he will be.
Well, Ben, speaking of that, I've been given the stat. The Pirates are 10-11 under Don Kelly, but they're actually 10-8 in complete games managed by Don Kelly. So
well, maybe that's the data he needs. So actually better when he finishes the game.
Yeah, while we're on the subject, and you probably have covered it. A couple of your shows have not hosted them, but and forgive me for repeating, but just maybe you now have another week under your belt of watching Don Kelly. You made the move, and now we see. I've been asked, Ben, to describe the difference, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what it is. There's just a feeling around here that's different under Don Kelly. I don't know, maybe you numbers or whatever could back it up on your end.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would go back to again is communication, and obviously I'm in a position to see that and hear about it, more sometimes than others would be. But he's just really being intentional about communicating with players, with staff, and really that's just what about what? Like someone might ask, communicating about what? It's really trying to get to clarity every day. Like what are we trying to do? What's expected? What do you need from us, or what do we need to do with each other to help that? And I think he's really been intentional about that aspect of the job. It is a critical aspect of the job, and we're seeing some response from that, as you referenced. I do think the team is fighting together, competing together, having each other's backs. We're in games. We've had some tough things go against us in some close games. But I do think the team has responded to that. And at the same time, we also know that when there's a change like that in the middle of the season, well, it's going to feel different. No matter who the people are involved, it's going to feel a little bit different. And, we need to continue to keep the pedal down in all facets of our operation, certainly myself, to keep finding the things that are going to help us get better. Let's leverage, the response that we're getting from Donnie and the work that he's doing, but let's keep finding other ways to keep getting better too. It's got to be a team effort.
I saw a note somewhere, and I wish I had it in front of me right now, but about under Don Kelly, the Pirates' defense has actually gotten better, and I'm wondering how could that be? I asked somebody about that earlier today, and they said, well, maybe he's kind of, as you mentioned the word intentional, and maybe that's kind of gotten through to the team that they're taking more pride and there's more priority even, if that could be the case, under a new manager, under new leadership.
Yeah, I'd probably be speculating a little bit on that. I do think our team defense has been, pretty good overall for the year. Obviously, we went through some really difficult stretches early in the year. We weren't scoring runs and weren't winning games, but team defense, other than a couple spots here and there, has been pretty solid. I agree, we've played well defensively since he's taken over for sure. I'm sure Donnie himself will be the first one to tell you that there's a lot of different things going into that. Some of that is that, the work that guys have been doing all year just continues to show up on the field. We're seeing that, I think in our outfield play recently. I think both Canario and Pham, when they've been out in left field, have made really strong plays. We continue to play well as an infield group. The catching has been strong, and O'Neill has really stabilized since that early part of the season. So combination of things going on, but I think the team defense has been a general strength all year, but maybe even a little bit stronger lately.
Hey, Ben, the moment that happened the other night, we're seeing this throughout baseball. It sure seems like that ABS system's got a ton of momentum. It's almost a foregone conclusion that it's going to be here next year, and I get the impression some of these players wish it were in like tomorrow.
And I remember hearing that we were going to experiment with it in spring training, and certainly my first thought is that having seen it work in AAA, my first thought was, well, I'll just be really surprised if the response to it is not pretty positive by the end of spring training. And I certainly don't know where we're headed. I'm not in those level of conversations at the league, but we've seen it work pretty well, I think, in AAA and spring training. And I think one thing that gets lost is that these umpires are really, really good, and it's a very hard job. And we think about how good the stuff is these days and how hard hitting is. Well, it's the same thing for an umpire. They're calling games with stuff that's just as good as it's ever been, and keeps getting better. And that's got to make their job a little bit harder too. So I think all these things, the challenge system, the ABS, it's really about giving the umpires some help at a job that's really, really hard, and they're really good at it to begin with. And so let's give them help to make it maybe even a little bit better. We'll see. Again, I'm not in those conversations, but we've seen the system work well.
By the way, have you heard any news, positive, negative, about the experimenting that's going on with the challenges for the check swings in the minor leagues, the 45-degree rule, the bat head ahead of the knob by more than 45 degrees. It is a swing, and that Hawkeye system, which is being used in Bradenton.
Yep. Yeah. No, I haven't gotten a ton of feedback. We're actually was going to mention we're having our midpoint player development meetings in Pittsburgh coming up this week, so we'll get a chance to ask folks about that. But everything I've heard is that again, it's another thing it works well. It can work well. It's another way to help umpires be even maybe better, or make the job even a little bit easier. I do recall it was sort of hilarious, really, in anticipation of trying this out in the minor leagues this year, this technology to help with check swings. The commissioner's office played a video for us at the winter meetings last year. old check swing calls back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and it was pretty hilarious. The whole room just starts erupting laughing because it was intended intentionally to show how far we've come as it relates to check swings. There was one of I think it was Sandy Koufax, maybe even in a World Series game, and the hitter, literally it was a full swing, like all the way around, almost fell down swinging, and it was ruled a check swing. So check swings have come a long way already, but if we can narrow that definition a little bit more through technology, I can't imagine that wouldn't be a good thing. That's one of those calls, as you know, Brownie, where you're always feeling like, man, nobody really has a great view of this. It's a bit of a guess whenever it's called. So maybe technology could help us.
Yeah, I always have wondered for so long the technology's been there. Now, why not use it as they do in tennis and some other sports? We'll continue with Ben Cherington as the Pirates and Padres meet here in San Diego. More to come here on the Pirates Radio Network.
Baseball fans, meet Pays, an online checkout offered by banks and credit unions. With Pays, checking out is fast and convenient because eligible cards appear in one place, ready to use. When you order game day food delivery, your team's latest jersey, or just a pillow to cry into. Using Pays gives you added security too, because actual card numbers aren't shared with merchants. Find out if your bank or credit union offers Pays today at Pays.com. That's PAZE.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate acceptance, joy, and resilience at PNC Park on Friday, June 6th as the Pirates take on the Phillies at 6:40 for our annual Pride Night. Join us as we honor and recognize Pittsburgh's LGBTQ+ community. Fans who attend receive a Progress Flag pennant while supplies last. Plus, be sure to check out the Pride Resource Fair on the Riverwalk. It's the Bucks and the Phillies, Friday, June 6th at 6:40. Get your tickets today at pirates.com/pride.
At AHN Sports Medicine, we know ballers. Baseballers, basketballers, footballers, pickleballers, even bocce ballers. We also know that no two ballers are alike, which is why at AHN Sports Medicine, we use the latest research, equipment, and technologies to build your personalized plan. No matter how hard you want to ball, we see you. Call 412-DOCTORS to get expert care from AHN, the official medical provider of your Pittsburgh Pirates.
We're back here in San Diego, and we're on the telephone line with Pirates general manager Ben Cherington. Today, it is Andrew Heaney on the mound for Pittsburgh against Randy Vasquez. Last night was Bailey Falter against Dylan Cease, and the Pirates grinded much like they did that first outing. They saw Cease at PNC Park, limited him to just 4 innings, Ben, and that offense last night, 5 runs, a dozen hits, and all that talk about the Pirates setting the record, and understandable, 26 straight games without scoring more than 4 runs. Well, now 6 of the last 9 games they've scored 5 or more runs. So what has happened with this Pirate offense?
We're just seeing a more consistent approach and really selling out to, okay, how are we beating this pitcher tonight? And let's stay disciplined to that. I thought like that first game in Arizona, coming off the travel, maybe looked a little bit flat. But since then, on this road trip, even the Friday game, we only scored 2. But I thought our overall approach that day was pretty good. Really, we're giving ourselves a chance in at bats. That's been a very intentional effort from the hitters themselves and our hitting coaches, our group, in terms of what they're talking about going into each series, going into each game. Specifically, like what are we doing to beat this particular pitcher tonight? And really staying disciplined to that. I think we've seen that for the most part. It's led to just more consistent at-bats, passing the baton to the next guy, trust the next guy, just have a quality at-bat. It's leading to a little bit more run scoring. We got to keep that going, clearly. Like it's improved, but not enough, not as much as we want it to be, and we all got to be focused on making that happen.
Henry Davis was such a big part of that come-from-behind win in Phoenix. He got it going, that 2-run homer when he entered the game late because of the concussion protocol for Joey Bart. He hits the home run off of Corbin Burns, and then he leads off the 8th inning with that double into the right center field gap. He's been starting each game since. Now, Andy Rodriguez will go behind the dish today, but have you seen a different approach from Henry Davis?
We are seeing adjustments for sure. He's been working hard at this really since spring training, trying to put himself in a position to get that barrel to more pitches. Basically, what he's always had as a hitter is good swing decisions, bat speed, and just toughness. Like the ability to compete in the at bat. He chased some things, I think, in the last couple of years. Trying to go after some stuff, and it was well intended to try to get better. May have gotten into some bad habits in terms of mechanically, in terms of how he was moving and how the swing was working. I think we're seeing some adjustments now in season. He's a little bit more middle of the field oriented, giving himself a little bit better chance there. Really don't think we've seen the best version even yet. We're seeing improvement for sure. Still think there's more in there. And then, of course, we talk about the defensive side of the game and how far that's come. So we feel really good when he's in the lineup.
Interesting that he credited Hannah Mears talked to him on the TV side the other day, and he talked about how Adam Frazier had been such a big help with a couple of hitting drills.
Yeah, well, Frazier's a smart baseball guy, first of all. Frazier's also seen a lot of good things across the game. Obviously started his career with the Pirates, but he's now been in a few places and in some good places, and I think he's taken things from those places and probably helping some other guys from that experience.
Ben, when it comes to the catching situation, Joey Bart, do you expect that it would just be the 7-day IL with the concussion? Is it still too early to say?
It's too early. We don't know. We think that this is on the minor side, but it's so hard to tell with concussions, as you know, and you really just have to listen to the person involved. Of course, there's some tests, but it's really listening to how that player, in this case Joey's, feeling and what he's sharing with us every day, what he feels ready to do, taking that a day at a time, and that's just what we'll do. So however long that takes is however long it takes, and we'll go from there. And certainly when he's ready to get back into baseball activity, we'll get him back ramped up and into game activity. And depending how long that takes, we'll determine if a rehab assignment is necessary or not. We just don't know that yet. So if we rewind a week, we knew Andy was coming back. We knew that it was important that all three guys are in a position to play regularly, and we had a decision to make. And then, of course, Joey got hurt, and so it sort of made the decision for us short term. So we'll see, and we'll just work on getting Joey back at this point.
When he does come back then, you're faced with the same decision, I guess, a healthy Andy Rodriguez. I would assume you'd like to get all three playing time. Is Andy Rodriguez in a different category than Henry Davis? Because Henry Davis was catching maybe a couple times a week, certainly with Paul Skeens, while Andy was on the injured list. So what happens when all three are available?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that long term it would be I don't think it's probably best for the Pirates or any of those three guys long term to be only playing a day or two a week. Obviously, that was happening with Henry for a little bit early in the season due to circumstance. But over the course of the season and certainly longer term, it's probably in our best interest and in the best interest of those three players to be playing more than that. So we just have to figure out how to get there. Sometimes injuries do get in your way, and sometimes roster constraints get in your way. I think it's certainly possible to have two catchers on a team playing more than twice a week. You can do different things, but it's pretty much impossible to have three catchers on a team playing more than a day or two a week. So it's just something we'll have to figure out when we get all healthy.
Ben, I guess for the short and long term, Bart and Davis are catchers, even though Davis came to the big leagues to get him at bats. You put him out in the outfield. But those two are catchers, and Endy is the guy that can move around, correct?
Well, I think they're all three catchers, and we really believe all three of them, that's their position, and anything they do in addition to that would be sort of a feature of either helping the team or helping them, depending on the circumstance, depending on what we felt the player was capable of doing. So coming out of spring training, certainly we felt Endy was a catcher, but we had this opportunity and kind of opening at first base, and we sat around and said, well, the only way this makes sense, given how much time Endy's missed, for him to be on the team if he's playing pretty regularly, well, first base just allowed that to happen, and then unfortunately he got hurt. And so I think we would continue to look at it like that. If it helped Guy get on the field more, or if we really felt it helped the team win, different things, we'd consider, a secondary thing for any of them in theory. But we see all of them primarily as catchers, and we're still trying to figure out, exactly what that mix will look like over time. First and foremost, the most important thing is to get Joey back healthy and get him back in a position to do what he's capable of doing.
Let's step aside at the bottom of the hour, allow our stations to identify themselves. Pirates back home, Houston Astros Tuesday night. Paul Skeens will be on the mound for the Pirates on Tuesday when Houston comes to town, and that Thursday game, Thursday night, 6:40, is a Sugardale Dollar Dog game. Enjoy $1 hot dogs throughout PNC Park thanks to Sugardale. Learn more at pirates.com/$dogs. We pause now on the Pirates Radio Network.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey Sports Station.
We will have more with Pirates General Manager Ben Cherington as the Pirates conclude this Western swing here in San Diego. More to come on the Pirates Radio Network.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Whether you're catching the game at home or at your favorite bar in the Berg, when summer vibes are strong and baseball season is in full swing, reach for the beer that's always right. Icy Light Mango is 95 calories of juicy, bold refreshment that puts the party in watch party and will have you wanting more than just a Buccos win. Icy Light Mango. Around here, it's always go time. Available any time of the year. Brewed by Pittsburgh brewing makers of Iron City and Icy Light.
Great hitting, pitching, base running, and fielding are the ingredients of a winning team. For every other ingredient, Pirates fans trust Giant Eagle and Market District. They know their neighborhood grocery store is loaded with fresh, quality food and everyday value. Plus, with convenient curbside pickup and home delivery, high-quality products from our family of brands and epic MyPerks rewards, Giant Eagle and Market District give Pirates fans more ways to score every time they shop. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle, the official supermarket of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And we're back here with Pirates General Manager Ben Cherington on the telephone line with us. Pirates and Padres here in San Diego. Andrew Heaney for Pittsburgh against Randy Vasquez. Talk about some players on the injured list and coming back. How soon do you think Nick Gonzalez, I saw he's playing shortstop today for Indianapolis. So when might we see him back in Pittsburgh, Ben?
Well, we're hopeful it's soon. Certainly hopeful during the homestand. I think we'll get an update after today, how he's feeling, maybe check in on it tomorrow, see how soon, really soon that might be. But, we kind of communicated with Nick that after, when he got hit by the hand, he was coming off the ankles fine. And when he got hit by the hand, we kind of told him, like, you're just going to have to tell us, and we'll certainly keep watching, but tell us, when you feel like you can do everything you need to do as a hitter and in your overall game. And so we agreed to, let's get through this weekend. Let's give you a few more at-bats in Indy, get through this weekend, and assess after Sunday. So I think we'll have an update by tomorrow maybe.
Saw Liover Peguero playing some first base at AAA Indianapolis. You trying to bounce him around a little bit down there and see if that might help him, maybe more of a utility-type guy?
Yeah. It's trying to give him every opportunity to be available and an option for the team. He's obviously – he's not on his first option anymore, obviously, and we're at that point now in his career where we're just trying to increase the value that he has to the Pirates. And right now, that probably means kind of playing as many positions as possible. Saw him in center field the other day. He's been at first base, still getting reps at short. In the infield, he's really responded to this well. To Peggy's credit, he's gotten himself in really good shape. He's moving well. It wouldn't be the first time in the world that you have a guy who's sort of a big prospect as a younger player, and they kind of have to reinvent themselves at some point, and that's a little bit of what Peggy's going through right now.
Of course, people clamoring for Bubba Chandler. Saw he pitched well the other day, though limited innings-wise, it seemed as though his pitch count got up there So a couple questions, Ben. Do you think he still has to work on a little bit of the command efficiency stuff down at AAA? And the other question is, even if he were ready, I don't know where in the rotation he'd fit in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases where two things can be true at the same time. He's certainly showing enough to tell everybody that he's good enough to pitch in the major leagues, and that's bound to happen at some point. It seems a matter of time. None of us know exactly when, but it seems a matter of time, and it's bound to happen. And at the same time, for every day he's in AAA, there's just an opportunity to keep the standard really high, and he's been doing a really good job with that. As you know, the game does, the intensity of the matchups does increase at the major league level, and you mentioned that word efficiency, and if we're using X amount of pitches to get through a certain amount of innings in AAA, well, sometimes that means you can take an inning off that or something like that, right? So, we'll just continue to support Bubba in any way we can to be as sharp as he possibly can and keep that standard really high for whatever time he's there. And, the situation with the team, him continuing to do what he needs to do, stay healthy, et cetera. It seems a matter of time. At some point, we're going to see him in a Pirates uniform. And by the way, that was the goal at the beginning of spring training, and certainly the conversation we had at the beginning of spring training. We want Bubba to be in a position to pitch games at the major league level for Pittsburgh, help us win games at the major league level for Pittsburgh in 2025. Fully expect that certainly that goal is still in front of us, and he's doing his part to make sure it happens.
Although I guess I could ask you, maybe not immediately in the rotation, but the Pirates decide to bring up Braxton Ashcraft, one of the top prospects in the organization, and pitch him out of the bullpen. He was very effective in his major league debut in relief of Andrew Heaney. Would you be averse to doing the same thing with a guy like Bubba Chandler?
We haven't talked about that with Bubba specifically, but I will say that generally, this is something that we expect to continue to consider as a means to sort of break young starters in at the major league level. There's a couple opportunities that come with it. One is for the pitchers themselves. Instead of asking them to take full starts, 90 to 100 pitches, navigate 3 times through an order, et cetera, which is a hard thing to do at the major league level. That shorter bulk role can be a way to kind of break into the big leagues, learn more about the major leagues, learn about how stuff plays, without having to take, sort of the full burden of a full start. You saw that happen with Braxton the other day. He looked like he was able to come in and pitch really aggressively, free and easy. He did a great job. We may experiment with that kind of thing more in the future with other guys. The other benefit is that if guys can do that and be successful doing it, and we saw Braxton be pretty successful the other day, well, that's quite a weapon to have for a manager to be able to, have a guy out there that could maybe come in after a starter, maybe a starter's struggling on a certain day, or maybe we just don't love the matchup on a certain day with a certain starter and we want to be more aggressive. Or maybe we have a starter on a day where we just want to hold the pitch count a little bit shorter because they've been working really hard. Any number of reasons. If you have that kind of guy in the bullpen that you have confidence could go out and get 8 to 10 outs, at a high level, that's a pretty nice weapon to have. So we have some guys we think might be capable of doing that. Again, it's not a permanent state. If you see Braxton Ashcraft do it, it's just as we saw Luis Ortiz do this first part of 2024 and eventually graduated into more of a starter's role. It's not a permanent state. It may just be a way to get to the big leagues and help the team.
All right, we'll finish up with the Pirates general manager, Ben Cherington. We continue on the Pirates Radio Network.
When it comes to your electric supply, you have a choice for your home or business, and Dynegy wants to make it an easy one. You see, with Dynegy, low electricity rates are always in season. Get a year-round competitive fixed rate, plus enjoy long-term rate protection with no hidden fees or interruption in service. Dynegy, powered by Vistra, official energy supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates and PNC Park. Call 866-415-4674 or visit Dynegy.com to make the switch today.
Hey, Pittsburgh, one of the greatest cross-state baseball rivalries is headed your way Saturday, June 7th, when your Buccos take on the Philadelphia Phillies at 4:05. Get to the ballpark early and kick things off with a pregame Wiggle Whiskey block party on Federal Street with live music, drink specials, Pirates alumni autographs, and more. It's the Pirates and the Phillies, Saturday, June 7th at PNC Park. Get your tickets at pirates.com.
At AHN Sports Medicine, we know runners. Trail runners, road runners, marathon runners, 1-mile runners, and the somewhere in between runners. We also know that no two runners are alike, which is why at AHN Sports Medicine, we use the latest research, equipment, and technologies to build your personalized plan. At AHN, we see you. Call 412-DOCTORS to get expert care from AHN, the official medical provider of your Pittsburgh Pirates.
Final couple of minutes with Pirates General Manager Ben Cherington. Ben, you mentioned player development meetings coming up. I guess June could be a big month for you and the baseball ops folks.
Yeah, I think the next 8 weeks and the beginning of June kind of kicks it off. It's a really critical time period for the Pirates generally, and baseball ops certainly right in the middle of that. But so many critical things happening over the next 8 weeks or so. We do have our player development midpoint meetings happening this coming week in Pittsburgh, starting tomorrow, and that's really an opportunity to get caught up. It's not quite at the midpoint, but close enough on just the progress of minor league players, like what's going on with their development plans, what's working, what's not working as well, where do we need to course correct. So that's going to be, an exciting opportunity for the leadership group to get together in Pittsburgh and dig into that. That gets going tomorrow. The following week, we'll have our pro group in town, and that'll be kind of a kickoff to get into planning mode for the next several weeks leading up to the deadline. What is the work we still need to do to get out there and make sure we know the player group, the external player group well enough, also know our own players well enough, start to think about where those opportunities might be to help the Pirates short and long term. So that'll get kicked off the following week. And our amateur group is in the middle or starting their regional meetings this week. And then they'll come together in Pittsburgh later in the month and certainly early July to help get us ready for the draft, which is obviously a massive event for us. So it's a critical time, really busy time, exciting time. We've obviously got a lot of important work to do at the major league level. Again, our focus is to play winning baseball in 2025. That's what everybody's working toward that. But to support that, we've got a lot of other things going on, and the next 8 weeks is really critical.
Ben, thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you in a couple days when the Pirates are back home for the long homestand. Really appreciate it.
Brownie, thanks. Get a win and travel safe. Thanks.
That's a good call. Let's get the W and head home on that note. Coming up, it's the Pirates and the Padres on the Pirates Radio Network.
For the 48th year in a row, Ford F-Series are America's best-selling trucks. The trucks that move mountains also move boats, bricks, and 2x4s, workdays and weekends, job sites, and campsites. F-150 and Super Duty never stop working, just like you. F-150, official truck of the Pittsburgh Pirates and Pittsburgh's best-selling trucks. Let's go, Bucks.
You know, Greg, we at NSS Life have been a proud part of Pittsburgh's winning legacy for a long time.
I know, Joe. You've been building futures that last a lifetime with affordable life insurance, strong, reliable annuities, enabling families to be financially secure for whatever comes next.
NSS Life, protecting the people, the moments, and the city we love.
NSS Life, where family matters.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Hard hit ball to short, scooped up and tossed to second. Quick turnaround, it's going to be close. Throws it to first, and he's out. Double play.
A Pirates double play is a well-oiled machine, just like Valvoline Instant Oil Change. We'll change your oil in about 15 minutes while you stay in your car. The only thing that'll be out here is your old oil. Drive into your neighborhood Pittsburgh location today. No appointment needed. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud sponsor of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Broadcast commencing in 3.
Andrew McCutcheon. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
1.
Grand slam for Brian Reynolds.
Your Pirates are on the air. Today's game on the Pirates Radio Network is brought to you by Highmark. Highmark is proud to sponsor the Pirates everywhere, from home base to home away from home. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Giant Eagle, the official supermarket of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Brewing, makers of Iron City and Icy Light. NSS Life. For low-cost life insurance and high-yielding annuities, it's NSS Life. Where family matters. Allegheny Health Network, official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cheering for you through every win, every loss, and every moment in between. The Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Operating Engineers. Partner with Operating Engineers Local 66. Join us at IUOE66.org. Dynegy, powered by Vistra, official energy supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates and PNC Bar. Sheets. Why the sheets not? Get a snack after the game. And PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. This is Pirates Baseball on the Pirates Radio Network.
We're here in San Diego for the final game of this 3-game series and the last of the 6-game road trip. Pirates took 2 of 3 against the Diamondbacks in Phoenix. The last 2 games, they had the off day on Thursday. They dropped a tough one on Friday, and they bounced back with a 5-0 shutout, a 2-hitter for the Pirates. Bailey Fulter, Caleb Ferguson, Dennis Santana, and David Bednar. And the Buccos have now an opportunity to take back-to-back road series. Greg Brown, Kevin Young with you, our pregame show presented by Highmark. Highmark is proud to support the Pirates everywhere, from home plate to home away from home, because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Pirates collected a dozen hits en route to their 5-0 shutout. They have now won 7 of their last 11 ball games, and they send Andrew Heaney to the mound against righty Randy Vasquez. We've got a treat for you coming up next. Pirates manager Don Kelly is going to be interviewed by his brother-in-law, Neil Walker. And that is next from San Diego here on the Pirates Radio Network.
He comes set, wind up, and the pitch. Swing and ka-ching! And Buccos pitcher send another batter down on strikes. All season long, for every Pirates pitcher strikeout, Coppers is donating $25 to an all-star charitable organization with a great lineup of charities like Steel City Selects, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Pittsburgh Cultural Trust, March of Dimes, Visibility Pittsburgh. Coppers and Pirates pitchers will be bringing the heat all season long.
At AHN Sports Medicine, we know ballers. Baseballers, basketballers, footballers, pickleballers, even bocce ballers. We also know that no 2 ballers are alike, which is why at AHN Sports Medicine, we use the latest research, equipment, and technologies to build your personalized plan. No matter how hard you want to ball, we see you. Call 412-DOCTORS to get expert care from AHN, the official medical provider of your Pittsburgh Pirates.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The Bob and Joe Show, weekdays 10 to 2.
I enjoyed life on the road. I was young and foolish then, Bob. Young and single. It's great.
Oh, there's a story or two there. He brought that up.
No.
He brought that up. Got some money in my pocket. He's a dangerous man because he's got some money in his pocket, Joe Starkey. On the road, single boy. I see where you're going.
No, that wasn't where I was going.
No, it was. Your mind took you there.
The Bob and Joe Show, weekdays 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Every great team has a game plan. And if you're heading to a Pirates game, you need one too. Step 1, pregame with some Sweets donuts. Step 2, stuff your pockets full of tots and Snuggets for the mid-game hunger. Step 3, celebrate the W with a milkshake. If you're mourning a loss, then make it a large. Because win or lose, a Sheetz run is always the right call. Why the Sheetz not visit the official convenience store of the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Welcome back to the Pirates pregame. The Pirates are going for their second straight series win of the road trip here in San Diego this afternoon. Neil Walker along with Pirates skipper Don Kelly. Donnie, it's been a nice road trip so far. You guys are 4-2, or 3-2, I'm sorry, with a chance to go 4-2 today. Played some good baseball, especially game 2 and 3 in Phoenix, and now here in San Diego. Tough game 1, but nice bounce back night last night. How would you assess this road trip so far, and what have you really liked out of your group this road trip against 2 pretty good teams?
Yeah, we played pretty well in Arizona. Had a tough first night down there and bounced back with games 2 and 3 the offense really came alive. Pitching was really solid, and found a way to come away with the series win there, and looking to do the same here in San Diego. Again, tough first night. Guys battled, came up a little bit short, and then last night a good bounce back, and looking forward to finish the series and this road trip strong. Last game here in San Diego.
What can you say about Falter last night? Obviously, we spoke a lot on air about how good he was in May in particular, and obviously bookends his last start of May yesterday with just a terrific performance. The fastball looked good. The off-speed stuff was really effective against, again, a pretty good offense in the San Diego Padres. How do you feel about where he is right now and what you expect from him moving forward?
He's done a great job. His May was unbelievable. He's really established that fastball command, opening up the inside part of the plate, and it's allowed his other stuff to work really well with his slider and his changeup. He's used his changeup more effectively, and I think it's all based off the fastball. We talk about the extension and how his fastball plays up. He can use it at the top of the zone. Big key for him, like I said, is his ability to pitch and locate inside, and opens everything up for him.
And the offense yesterday, pretty timely, gave yourself a lot of opportunities, runners in scoring position, slugged pretty good, a lot of extra base hits. Brian Reynolds, obviously we've touched on him quite a bit of recent since that day off he had in Philadelphia, and he's basically been on a tear since then. We know what he does in June historically, and also IKF, what he's providing you at the very bottom of the order, almost like a pseudo second leadoff guy when he's going well. Can you touch on both of those guys and what you really liked to have seen from them of recent?
Yeah, they've both been doing really good. Brian, since that Philadelphia series, has been swinging the bat really well, driving the ball. We saw the double yesterday, right-handed oppo that he hit. He had a really good swing, left-handed too, just been really consistent, and same goes for IKF. I mean, he's down there. He's been towards the bottom. We've mixed him up a little bit, but it is nice, like you said, having him as that kind of like a second leadoff guy down there, setting the table for Cruzy and Kutch and B-Ray coming back around, and he's done a fantastic job, and he's done a great job knocking in runs too. Down when we were in San Diego, he came up with a bunch of big hits. So he's been really consistent on both sides of the ball, and love what he's been able to do.
And on top of that, you mentioned Kutch. He hits the home run yesterday. It's definitely been more vocal, it seems, of late as far as keeping guys in check and having guys back as well as you have. Have you been really proud of what you've seen? Obviously, he's had a tremendous career, but it certainly feels like he's taken the reins a bit more of recent to make sure these guys know that day in and day out they have to earn it. We have to right this ship, and his voice is very important in that aspect.
Yeah, there's no doubt he did a great job of that the other day, and then after the first game here, tough loss, tough call, and he had a big time after the game talking to the guys, and then backed it up yesterday in the game. Came out, swung the bat well, hit the big home run, and really that's it. We have to go out and earn it and find a way to overcome anything that goes on, and Kutch has been a big part of that.
Andrew Heaney looking for a bounce-back start here through Game 1 in Phoenix, and not the outcome that he wanted or you guys wanted. We've seen him be so good for most of the year. What are you going to look for with him today in a day game? We know at Petco Park ball travels a little bit more during day games. We know his repertoire. How does he bounce back today?
Yeah, he's been so good for us all year long, and he's a veteran guy that, again, changes speeds, mixes up his pitches really well, mixes up his arm slots, gives him different looks. Again, the fastball command to the inside part of the plate is really key for him, and finding ways to get that fastball there that opens up his slider, changeup, and I think Arizona, they laid off that changeup pretty good, so looking forward to him establishing that and finding a way to get back in the zone.
A guy throwing on the other side for the Padres, Randy Vasquez, not a name that is super familiar across the board, but he's done a really good job so far this year, particularly the fastball. What will be the keys to success against him today in this rubber match?
we got to get pitches that we can hit. He pitches really well, like you said, and looking to get you out early on his pitches, so being selective early on in the count and making sure that we get pitches that we can handle and do something with. And then same goes for when we get runners in scoring position, just trying not to do too much, staying within ourselves and getting a pitch out up over the plate that we can drive to the gap.
Well, it's been a good road trip for you guys, and hopefully it ends on a high note with an off day heading back to the East Coast in a home series in front of you guys. So good luck to you, DK. And we're going to come back. Greg Brown and Kevin Young will rejoin you next after this break on the Pirates Radio Network, presented by Iron City and IC Light.
At AHN Sports Medicine, we know ballers. Baseballers, basketballers, footballers, pickleballers, even bocce ballers. We also know that no two ballers are alike, which is why at AHN Sports Medicine, we use the latest research, equipment, and technologies to build your personalized plan. No matter how hard you want to ball, we see you. Call 412-DOCTORS to get expert care from AHN, the official medical provider of your Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Pirates and PNC are going to bat for local small businesses by highlighting a different business each month. This month, the spotlight is on Atlas Dreams Languages. They specialize in providing language solutions tailored to the needs of agencies, schools, and organizations working with immigrant and refugee communities. They help deliver accurate, culturally sensitive language services that empower their clients to help create pathways for integration, understanding, and success. To learn more, visit adlanguages.com.
And we are back here in San Diego getting ready for Bucco baseball. Andrew Heaney against Randy Vasquez. Good job, Neil Walker, by the way. Nice stuff there with his brother-in-law, Donnie Kelly. Plenty of baseball action today. Run through some final scores quickly and detail them as we go along. More shutouts. Have had that theme last night. That Houston blanks Tampa Bay 1-0. Same score, Detroit over the Kansas City Royals 1-0. Zach McKinstry scores on a wild pitch. Giants over the Marlins in Miami 4-2. The Mets beat the reeling Rockies by the final score of 5-3. Colorado loses its 50th game in its first 59 contests. Cleveland over the Angels 4-2. It was Toronto getting past the struggling Athletics. Final score of 8-4. Brewers sweep the Phillies 5-2, and Milwaukee runs its winning streak to 7 straight games. Baltimore defeats the White Sox at Camden Yards 3-2. Boston over the Braves in Atlanta 3-1. Texas 8. St. Louis 1. Jacob deGrom 6 innings 1 run beats the Cardinals. The Twins and Mariners are scoreless in the fourth. Diamondbacks lead in Phoenix 3-0 over the Nationals. Cubs have a 7-2 lead at home in the ninth over the Reds. That is our pregame show. And by the way, baseball fans, meet Pays, a convenient new online checkout offered by banks and credit unions. Learn more at Pays.com. That's PAZE.com. Yep, our pregame show. And next, we'll have the lineups and shortly the first pitch from San Diego here on the Pirates Radio Network.
The U.S. Open is coming to Pittsburgh June 9th through the 15th at Oakmont Country Club. Golf's biggest stars will compete at the 120